Hey y'all, it's me again, Joey.
Well, ready to let them loose?
Yep, that's it. Let's see if they make us run.
Oh,
Probably so.
yeah, that one tried to get after him, but other than that, what can you expect? I mean, can you blame them? Oh yeah, they're getting after us now. Go, Joey, go!
Hey man!
Hey, man, buddy. I'm gonna get in the truck. You gotta go back and get your camera.
But also, just get as many as you can off the one next to it. Get out.
You gotta move away.
Do that side again. Y'all ready? Let's get started. Well, here we are again. Another Saturday night. How are you doing, Mr. JW?
I've never had so much fun. Life's so exciting.
Yeah. I can tell we both really enthused tonight. Me and my little crew been washing cars all day. Got in
Washing cars.
3 vehicles. The big 350, a Honda Odyssey, and whatever kind of little car she's got. I think it's one of those Hyundai Sonata, I think it is. We just did a quick wash on the outside. There you go, clean it off. But we did some detailing on the inside. We got them pretty clean. They all three needed it, and this got me whipped. I was whipped after the first car. How about you, Tom? How you doing today?
Doing really well. Another warm day here in the Midwest.
Was it?
Yeah, good for me, bad for the bees.
I never did look at the temperature or the humidity today, but evidently it wasn't too bad because all the work I was doing, I never did break a sweat. So that'll be a good thing in South Louisiana.
It's pretty overcast here all day. Was it the same way in your neck of the woods?
It's been cloudy. That's what kind of got me started. Cleaning the cars. It was cool outside.
Yeah,
and it just got out there. I say cool, but it just was comfortable. So we just got out there cleaning them up.
6 degrees here right now.
Yeah,
which is kind of stupid.
I had to run to the store. I rode through the bee yard, and there wasn't much flying going on. I guess it being overcast.
Yeah. I don't know if they were flying as much. You know what's funny is every time that, like typically not this time of year, but very, very early spring, like you get a couple warm days in, I don't know, February or early March, and they start flying a lot or what have you. It's like, without question, I'll get at least a couple of the landowners where we keep bees at saying something like, hey, the bees are all doing this, that, and the other, whatever. And I'm like, yep, above 50 degrees, they'll fly. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what time of year it is. 50 degrees and sunny, they're going to be flying. If you get a day like 60 plus, you're going to see a lot of bees flying. And if you have a few of them in a row, they're all going to continue to forage like they would normally,
Yeah.
It's not just a cleansing flight after you hit the second or third day. It's
even yesterday. I probably had 60% of my hives in my main yard were pretty busy. I mean, you could just see it, coming and going, and but they had 2 or 3 that were not doing a whole lot. But I put my ear up there and tap on it, and you can just tell it's full of bees, and kind of tilted it up. Yeah, Philip, if you're on there, I'll text it to you. You have to give me just a minute. Where was I at?
You said just checking to see if they're full of bees.
Well, yeah, it looked like they were nothing there, but when I tapped on it, I could hear the bees move around, so I kind of just walked away pretty quick. Let me get this link posted. All right. I was going to take something to Philip right quick. Y'all just carry on.
Carry it out.
Hmm.
We're gonna discuss the cross between the elephant and the pygmy titmouse here in a little bit. We'll get you fired up.
Well, I'm here to be educated, so fill me in, JW.
I told you, get on Google and find out what you come up with if you cross the elephant with the pygmy titmouse.
I was actually, believe it or not, later this afternoon, earlier today, my son and I went to the shooting range and played around for a little while. He got a new 9mm firearm, and anyway, it was we were playing around with that. But when I got back this afternoon, I was actually looking up, watching some videos and listening to some stuff about cattle breeding. JW.
What about it?
I just seeing what people do, how they do it, what, just different things about it. That's all. Nothing specific.
Well, I'll tell you about the thing about breeding cows. I liked everything about it except having to kiss them.
It seems really interesting, just the way people carry themselves around livestock and cattle, and certain bulls out in the field, people can just go up and pet them, and other ones they don't like you messing around in their pens or near their ladies and all that good jazz. I'll give you, for example, Dennis and Melanie Cruz. Most people probably in here know who they are. They live down in North Florida, right at the Florida-Georgia line, and he does a little bit of cattle breeding still. Anyway, he has this big JW. I sent you a picture of that, and I can't remember now. Oh, it's a Brahma and Angus. I think he called it a Brangus. Is that right?
That's the cross. Yeah, that's what they call them. Yeah.
Because, and tell me where I'm wrong at here, but he mentioned one time about how a certain breed is better for areas that are a little warmer and a lot more sunlight because they can cool easier.
The Brahma strain, that's the reason. They're not in my opinion, they're not a real good butcher beef strain of cattle to have, but they make a nice cross and they keep better in the South with all that heat.
Yeah.
They're more heat resistant than your British breeds, which are, the Angus and the Herefords and the
I know when I was still at home, I worked in a dairy. It wasn't ours. I worked for another guy, but I worked in the dairy and on the farm, and about 2 years before I graduated school, that man, the actual man that I was working for, is a father and son thing, and I was actually working for the son, but the dad was paying me because I was taking his place, but the son was my boss. But anyway, getting off track, he went a couple years before I graduated to Wisconsin and bought about 10 Holsteins from up there. Nice cows, nice milk cows. And he brought them home, and they stayed healthy for a while. That first summer come on, and we thought those cows were gonna die. They lost a lot of weight, and they never did really get sickly acting, but they just kind of started shrinking down. The heat was getting them.
Mm-hmm.
But after that summer was over and fall come in, and he got them fattened back up good. The next summer, those cows did good, and I tell you, when they calved, those things brought in some milk. They were out doing everything he had in his barn. It took them a year to get used to South Louisiana, though.
Huh. Some hot, humid heat.
I don't
I
know if
wanted to
they
show you guys a
changed the
picture of what
breed of the cow or anything. I think it was just they were used to colder weather. But you
Yep.
got a big neck on him.
So what's odd is, unfortunately, that picture does not do this guy justice, but he's a beautiful bull.
Mm.
You can see that brindle color in him. But I'm telling you what, this guy was a gentle giant. When I went out there, Dennis was out there feeding him, and I said, "Hey," I said, "Can I go in there?" And he goes, "Yeah." And I'm like, "You sure about that?" And he goes, "Yeah." And he goes, "Yeah." He's like a big puppy dog, and I'm like, "Well, he might be to you." I'm like, "He doesn't know me." I'm like, that's not gonna be a problem, right? Because that guy was big. He's like, "Nope, not at all." I mean, went out there and just pet him and stuff, and he didn't seem to mind me at all. But anyway. I don't have much experience with all that, not like Mr.
Yeah,
Irwin.
they got all this hat on most of them. I raised probably, I don't know, between 500 and 1,000 bulls in my life, and I tried to break every one of them to lead. People come to buy bulls, they couldn't believe I could go out to pasture and get them, put a halter on them, lead them up there. But if they wouldn't lead, I couldn't break them to lead. I'd steer them and eat them.
Yeah,
Sell them for butcher beef.
Mhm.
Our FFA and the agriculture was the same man running both of them, and every year all us FFA guys, kids, we'd go to different farms and help vaccinate and cut whatever we needed to do, where it's pigs, hogs, whatever they had, everything but alligators. But we went to this one boy's farm. He was actually in the class, and they probably had like 20 yearlings there that we were vaccinating. And one of them out the whole bunch was probably a half-grown Brahma. He's pretty big, but he still has some growing to do. Everybody kind of looked at him and said, "Gary, who's going to catch him where we can vaccinate him?" He said, "Oh, he's just as gentle as he can be. He'll settle up when you grab him." Everybody thought he was kidding, like he was. They thought he was trying to hook somebody into getting the nerve up to go grab that cow by the neck. Nobody'd ever go grab it. Finally, we did all of them but that one. He walked up there and he grabbed that big bull by the neck like this, and he just laid down. He said, "Y'all give him a shot." He did. He grabbed him, and that bull just laid down on the ground.
JW, I have a question for you. Is that lump on the Brahma? Is that really hamburger meat?
No comment. I could answer, but it wouldn't be advisable what I'd answer. My answer would
You can count on me.
Joy barred for life if I answer it.
You can count on me for intelligent conversation. Cow talk.
Hey, Philip, that's the conversation we have just in person.
I've got I don't mean to change the subject, but we get back on.
Wants you to change the subject.
A fellow that buys my honey, not directly from me, he buys it. He goes to church with my oldest son, the one that's got the pharmacy, and he buys honey from him. And he's always talking to me about my honey and my bees. But he goes to Montana and hunts every year. And he told me about a place up there that he gets honey, and he brought me some, sent it to me for Christmas. Let's see. The first one he sent, let me turn my screen off. That's going to be aggravating. Let's see. Visual effects. Now y'all can see my ugly shed. But anyway, this is from Montana, and it's Lake. I can't hardly read it. Larkwood, Larchwood Farms. Oh, I can see it on there better.
Yeah,
Pull it
Larchwood.
back a little bit, Joey. You can't see it.
Larchwood. I live on
There you go.
Larch Drive. That's Larchwood Farms.
Yeah,
Huckleberry wild honey. Yeah.
but it's got actually huckleberry juice in this, according to this label.
So what's interesting is when I can see the light coming through it, it almost has a red hue to it,
Yeah.
almost kind of like tulip poplar.
Like huckleberry.
So they've got, but that's got juice in it though, right?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what I don't know if they cooked it or what they did, but somebody sent me a text on something. Oh, can you see where it says the juice is in there?
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, it tastes good. I don't know if it's been cooked or anything, so I don't know much about it. But they also,
Well, if it's got a date on it, it's been cooked, so I'm told.
yeah, let's see.
Expiration.
One of them, it's got a best by date on it.
Yeah, that's been heated.
Yeah, 2028, September 2028. But this is another one he brought me. It's from the same place.
Mm-hmm.
The green honey.
Yeah, and it's got the huckleberry. I don't know. You can see the little seed or the little specks in there. And you can see how much my family got into it Christmas Eve, too.
Got hold of it.
I had to go hide it. But they taste good. They really do. They taste good.
Somebody's blowing your phone up, Joey.
Yeah. Oh, Chris wanted me to show y'all a picture.
A couple little piglets there, huh?
ECP that's in the chat.
Mm-hmm.
He's got a little farm up there in West Virginia. He did a video on it not too long ago. It's covered with snow.
It's got some little ones.
That's one of my projects I did when I was in the FFA or the ag. I actually started a feeder pig program. I was one of the first ones. There was 3 of us that year. They gave us each 2 pigs, and we had to raise them, breed them, and give two pigs back. Each one of us did, and then we could just sell the rest of them, whatever we want to do with them. I had pigs. I had a little 2-acre place I grew up on. I had pigs all over it.
ECP said, "Show the bull."
Oh, okay.
Sent you a bill.
Well, did you text it, ECP?
I'm guessing he's talking to you.
It's on the chat. It says.
It says, "Show the bull."
He sent a text said show the bull.
Mm-hmm.
See if there's 2 pictures there. You might have to send it again, Chris. Ah, there it is.
Is that an Angus?
That's a black one. Black cow. Black bull.
See Tim and Hannah.
Anymore, you can't go by the color black because a lot of them cross that black in.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Kind of like bees, huh?
Yeah.
The guy that I worked for, he always had, I'm going to say, they always said maybe like one Jersey or something like that for every 10, 15 cows, but I think he had one for about every 25 to bring that butter fat up.
Yeah.
He always had some milking. He says they Black Angus. There he is.
I feel like if I was ever wanting to do anything with cattle, it wouldn't be the milk. It wouldn't be the dairy side. I don't know.
I'm glad I didn't. I always said I wanted my own dairy farm, but I wanted to raise horses too, because I grew up with horses.
Mm-hmm.
And I said I want a cattle/horse farm. I was stupid and didn't know. But actually, about the time I grew up enough to get on the road and start earning my own. Well, I actually worked my whole life, I guess, even when I was a kid in school. And when I was big enough to push a lawnmower, I was working for money,
Mm-hmm.
mowing somebody's yard. And some of them I was mowing for free because Daddy told me to get down there and get it cut.
Mm-hmm.
Are they little women? Yeah, I'm with that.
Yep.
Stuff. Yeah.
But when I got out, I got into the first job was actually with Brown and Root, and I was dragging cement. I was a common laborer dragging cement, and the foreman liked me, and he put me up to a tractor driver. I started pulling. It was in Laplace, Louisiana, DuPont plant in Laplace, Louisiana. And all I had to do was pull trailers all day long. I'd pull trailers from like the fab shop to wherever the construction site was and back and forth because they was prefabbing a lot. And then they promoted me to a pipe fitter helper. And then I went into the electrical field come back home. And I just didn't see me at that point. I said, I'd always still said I wanted a dairy. I said all that to say this. And then that's about the time I would say after I had topped out as an electrician, the dairy started kind of dropping off then. But I said, I'm glad I didn't get in it because that's when they probably started buying people out.
Brown and Root, a publicly traded company back then?
Was it what?
Was it a publicly traded company?
Yes, they were. I'd heard a lot of negatives about them.
Don't you wish you had just spent 10 or 15% of every check in Brown and Root stock?
Yes, at that time.
They became a big deal during the Gulf War, didn't they?
Probably so. I didn't really keep up with them. But look, and they told me
they did a bunch of oil field stuff, didn't they?
Yeah.
Yeah,
they did all kind of big construction.
I think they did a bunch of that work over in Iraq.
Yeah.
I think they
but if they told me, and my foster brother did, he was on the job too. He was a rod buster out of all things, and he stayed with that. I don't know why he wanted to stay with that. That's hard work. But he was making good money doing it. But they would tell you if any job that you heard about that Brown and Root had, come to the office, do the paperwork, and we'll put you there. You had to supply your own place to stay, but they would transfer you to those jobs. And they did several people like that. And I knew he went to Texas. I don't forgot where he worked. He stayed in Texas several years working for him over there. But I'd finally left. That was if any of you know about the Man Shack Bridge in Louisiana that got knocked down in 76, maybe 76, 77. I think it's 76. A barge or something hit that Man Shack Bridge there and knocked it down. A lot of cars went off of it. I had just crossed that bridge about 30 minutes before that happened. And
is that the one at Morgan City that's real? There's a bridge at Morgan City. It's real steep, scary steep.
No, this ain't it. I wish Lee was on here.
My brother lived down there, and we went over a bridge. thought it was. I guess Manchak's a place, right? That's the place with the real good catfish.
Yep, and that's where they got that big seafood place. They said Menendor's. You hear a lot of people talk about it
Right.
in Louisiana. But anyway, when that bridge fell in, I tried. Me and a couple more guys that lived near me, we traveled together instead of living over there. We drove carpooled for about 6 more months, and we just got burnt out on that. And I finally told them I'm going somewhere else. I come home waiting for another job to take me in. I come home and worked at a garment plant, bundle boy. I was a $5.10 bundle boy for about 6 weeks. I had a car note to pay. I had to work. I couldn't lay on my behind. I tell you what, that was a fun job. I just wish I could have made money at it because that building, it was probably, no, I don't want to offend nobody, but the building, the employees there were at least 85 to 90% women. And it was just a long line of different kind of stitching and everything going on. And those bundles would go from line to line all the way across that building from start to finish. And they'd get a lot of those women sewing. They would get paid by the bundle. The more bundles they did, the more money they'd make. And they wasn't working necessarily by the hour. And they'd get in a fight if you handed the wrong person that bundle. Give me that bundle right there, Joey. So I'd just sneak grab it and throw it on their table and run. But the fun part of the whole job, my best memories, is you could go on one end of that building and start a rumor, and it would beat you to the other end. Time you started working your way back down, passing those bundles or whatever you were doing, it would beat you to the other end.
Hold on, Joey. You said it was like 80% women?
At least 80.
Okay.
Most of the men
we understand
were
what
there.
you're saying then.
Very few of them men there were sewing. They always had something else they were doing. It was just the way it was.
Email all complaints to me again, Joey. That's what I'm sure that was Tim.
Yeah, my wife worked in the Jordache Jean Company when I met her. And she said there was this man that cut the jeans. They piled those jeans up and they cut those jeans on a bandsaw. She said she was there like the third time he cut his thumb off on the bandsaw.
Oh, boy.
Ouch.
He cut it off. He couldn't feel it because it had been cut off so many times. And they were in the hospital. They sew it back on just so it just kind of hung out there.
They should just put him a screw on there where he could just take it on and off.
No kid. Hey, the only reason they sewed it back on, Philip, is so that when he cut it off, he could get another week or two off work.
Yeah, he did get like a bump in pay every time he cut his thumb off.
Oh, so that's why he did it. I mean, if you couldn't feel it, it would literally pay you to keep cutting your thumb off, right? Let him sew it back on, cut it back off.
Yeah. But hey, I'm about to pull up to the house, so my phone's going to start trying to decide where it wants to be Wi-Fi or internet. So, oh shoot, I can't pull up. My daughter's parked back here. I was parking in the front, and I said, "Well, let me go back," but my daughter's parked in the back, so let me go back around to the front again.
Got you blocked in, huh?
Are you at your house or your mom's place at the farm?
I'm at my house, coming back from my mom.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Oh boy!
I get to talking. I missed the chats coming up.
Hey JW, what's that picture behind you? That's one of your show cattle.
That was taken right there at the Kentucky Expo Center, and that's a young bull that I won the class with him in 2012, and last year in 2013, the next year or the next winter in January, I won Kentucky. Or the Kentucky. I won the Fort Worth Stock Show with him. There was 2,500 head there, and I won the champion bull with that animal right there in 2013.
Did you keep him or did you sell him right away?
No, I sold semen out of him for 5 or 6 years.
Yeah.
You know.
That's something that keeps paying out for you then.
And I sold him. And I collected semen for 4 or 5 years. Then I sold him and
Oh.
to a partner of mine, and he spent his dying days in South Georgia breeding cattle, and it was out of our herd.
Mm-hmm.
You know, JW, you just reminded me of it. I don't know why, but those Wisconsin cows that boy had bought, several years, um, probably 5 or 6 years after I graduated and left there, he started shutting his dairy down. You know, because of that buyback. You know, state the the U.S. was buying cattle farmers out, paying. First, they were paying them not to milk, but he showed one of those cows that he had bought. He showed her, just like you did that bull there, and he won a lot of ribbons with her in different places. And I don't know where all he went because I kind of lost contact with him for a while because a lot of my work I traveled, stayed gone a lot. But finally, one day I was talking to him at church. We were in a fellowship building, and we got to talking about the old days. And I asked him about them cows, and he told me about him showing that cow. And he said he showed her and won a lot of prizes with her, and turned around and sold that cow for more than he paid for all 10 cows that he bought up in Wisconsin several years prior to that. That was something.
Well, I won't tell you what in the stores about some of my sales. That some of these, I sold that half internet bull there for several $1,000s. I can tell you, 23-year-old. After I went into the stock show with him, then I started collecting semen with him. Back to Highland and answer your question, folks. I sold all my semen tanks and everything 6 years ago, and I don't have a bit of semen or beef cattle on the place anymore. I'm strictly a bee guy. So.
That's the way they got. They had beef cattle too. They got rid of everything. Even the old dairy barn, one of the great grandkids live in it.
I was in a dairy barn today. This afternoon. I went over and got some hay for my donk and my 2 horses from a neighbor, and he milking 300 head. It's all automated, all on robots, computers on robots.
Yeah.
So
what
I hate dairy.
Is it JW? Is that operation that's just east of your farm?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, see this comment I had up there? That was about when a lot of that started happening down here. Well, somebody sent a private chat. Oh, that was Philip. Okay. But anyway, I knew of a dairy farmer that had bought before that date, that year there. He had bought the connecting dairy to him. It was like a 100-acre farm attached to his property. And as the cows dried out, they moved everything over to their farm that was by their house. And when this program started coming into effect, he knew about it. I'm going to say this right here on live. I ain't going to call no names. They opened that dairy back up and put all their culls over there in that farm. Every cull they had, and they let the government buy all that out.
There's a lot of
I've done the same thing. If I knew it was fixing to happen,
Mm-hmm.
that's kind of like inside trading, ain't it?
Give him the junk, right?
Yeah, but he did. He moved all his culls over there and opened it back up in another family member's name. And then when that time come, this in '86, they bought him out. And then he just jumped back over there to the main farm and started milking there again for a while. But I talked to that boy. You know, you had to keep milking, and they would pay them not to milk. They wouldn't even pick their milk up. They would milk the cows, and just go out there and dump that milk out in the
They
field.
was dumping it down the road ditches, running down the road ditches in
Yeah.
'86 up here.
Yeah.
I've got one other neighbor, Tom. You've never been over across there.
Yeah.
They milk 3,000. They milk 24 hours a day.
Yeah. And legally, they couldn't sell it to the public.
Yeah.
Not that I didn't take milk home with me all the time.
Mm-hmm.
That was some of the best milk. I milked them. I knew how clean it was. I didn't see a bunch of junk floating in the tank, and it was ice cold, and I'd fill a gallon jug up almost every day.
JW, you never messed around with any milk cows, right? It was all beef.
Milking, helping milk, just like Joey did. And I hated, I love beef cattle, but I hated dairy cows, still do.
Yeah.
Don't want nothing to do with them.
Well, see, I never did get to work with the man. He had, like say, they had beef cattle too, but they didn't raise the beef cattle on the farmland, the dairy land. It was in another pasture down the road.
Yeah.
They did let me go every now and then and haul hay over there and hay the cows, but that was the closest I ever got to working beef cattle.
No, we had the dairy farm I worked on. They had all Holsteins, and it was they had the whole setup was in the creek bottoms, very low, and we fought mastitis year around. And cows weighed that old mud. And the guy I worked for, his son was supposed to milk with me, and he'd never show up, and I never had any help. I kind of dairy.
Yeah, my boss didn't show up a lot of times. Why didn't you come wake me up? I said, I got it.
Yeah.
He didn't want to pay me that extra money because I was milking by myself. But
yeah,
you can either get up or you can just pay me the extra money. That's the way I saw it,
That's right.
I'd just soon run that whole dairy by myself. Yeah. Let me do that, and y'all do everything else you got to do.
Yeah. I made $5 a day when I worked over for a dairy farmer. As a kid.
Well, I didn't make a lot of money in the dairy, actually doing the milking. I probably made $6 a day. But the side work, anything outside the dairy, I got paid by the hour, like green chopping, feeding out hay, fixing fence, painting, all that kind of anything around the dairy. I was making, I don't forgot now, I was probably making like $4 an hour. $3 an hour, something like that. That wasn't bad for a kid in high school.
That's
I'd a whole lot rather been doing that than mowing somebody's grass at the time. Because everything I mowed, I pushed.
Oh, boy.
Tom, I don't know if I ever told you this, but I used to have to mow our yard all the time. It was a push mower.
Mm-hmm.
And I used to have to mow the widow women's around there. And they had a few yards people would pay me to come mow it every now and then. And when I told them that I'd proposed to my future wife about, I'm going to say 2 weeks before the wedding, Daddy went and bought a riding mower.
That dirty old guy.
Yep.
You got a question there, Joey, from Huckleberry.
Let's see.
That's 2 or 3 back.
Huckleberry?
Yeah.
I don't put any more than
739, Joey, 739.
Oh, that's not the one?
Yeah. I just finished putting on 7 bags of putting on 202 pounds of fondant this past week.
I hadn't done anything. I left them some honey.
So it just depends on what
Hey,
you
look,
do and how you operate.
Paul Hill has a good comment. Maybe you guys can answer that.
Well, hey, Paul, where's he at?
Third comment.
Yeah,
Up.
I can milk one if I get hold of your fingers sometime. Paul, I'll show you how to milk an
I
almond.
missed it.
No, one more up. There you go. That's actually what my son drinks. He can't have any dairy at all. It's bad news if he does. And so he drinks almond milk. I'll put that in quotes. whatever you want to call it, almond water, juice, whatever you want to call it. It's hardly milk.
My
That's
wife tried it. She couldn't drink it. She tried it.
Here's another thing I think is kind of odd. My other son actually, and he does it willingly. I don't even know what the brand of this stuff is. And does anybody else? There's some stuff called coconut water.
I drink it all the time.
Do you? Coconut water?
I got 7 or 8 cases out there. I'll let you drink some. I buy it, and I'm 7 or 8 cases of coconut water in my bee house.
He gets this bottle that's not a nice one like this, just a regular bottle. It's about like this size.
Yeah.
And I don't know how many ounces that is. I'm not even sure.
It's expensive.
Oh, yeah. He pays like $8.
At Walmart, a quart of it will cost you, $8 or $9.
Yeah.
That may be too high too. I'm going to say.
No, that sounds about right. Because that bottle he has might be a quart, maybe a little bit less. But yeah, it was like
very expensive.
Anyway,
I got some at the Amish store. I bought all the cases out of it. Matt's drank some of it. He can tell you about it, but it's all outdated. But it don't bother me none. I drank it anyway.
Do you like it because of the taste, or what is it?
Yeah, I like it because of the taste.
Okay.
Here's a big question.
Oh goodness, Roy.
Well, you have to have drawn comb in there.
Yeah.
I mean, it only takes a cup of bees, but I can tell you what I've talked to from some breeders that I know that used them, because I asked the question here last year. We were talking about utilizing those, and a friend of mine that lives in Kansas City, which is the opposite side of the state, he actually told me don't do it. He goes, for what you guys are doing, and he goes, the area you live in, he goes, it's not worth it. That's what he said to me.
Yeah, that's right.
Now, I'm not talking you out of it. I'm just saying I think it requires a extreme amount of diligence and timing, because once that queen starts laying, I think you probably only have 2 weeks or less.
You got to really
swarm cells.
You got to really be on a timing game to use those mini.
Yeah. He said he had several of them, so he would put a cell in there, and then he would put a cup of bees in there. You'd basically just get on the line, and this is when he first started them off. He said he had multiple ones would abscond straight out of that box because there was no comb, no resources. So what he did is, he said this helped. If he took he didn't put a cell in yet. He put a cup of bees in there and put feed in there, and he put them in a dark, cool room so they wouldn't fly. He did that for 3 days, kept food on them, and then that forced them to call it home to start drawing comb. Once they started to draw comb, he said he would take them back out, and then he goes, they would drop a cell on them and continue to feed them. So they would build out comb inside there. But without comb, he said they wanted to abscond. He goes, most of them would just abscond. So that's what I understand about them. But, I mean, once the queen starts laying, she doesn't have much time. You got to pull her out and drop another cell in, I guess.
Coconut water, folks, supposed to be real high in potassium. I have a problem with my low potassium. That's the reason I drank it. So.
Most people around me, they just use small, like 2 or 3 frame nukes, using regular frames, and they just put like 1 frame of bees in there and put a cell in there and let them do something with it. It's a little bit more forgiving, you don't have to stay on that timing schedule.
Yeah.
I actually like the mini mating nuke setup that, and they have a little bit more room in them too. The Defender Hive one that Apame makes. I've never used it. I've done a lot of research and stuff on it and never even knew it. Actually, talked to Korhan with Apame. And I said, why did I never know about this? He goes, we never really advertised them here. They weren't a big hit. He goes, in other countries and stuff, he goes, they're a pretty big hit. But here he said that they weren't. And so anyway, it's kind of worked out because Michael with 21st B has got an order of them that is, I don't know if they've landed yet. They're supposed to be coming in. A couple pallets, I think, that he was pre-selling with his frames. And I'm actually kind of anxious to use those to be really honest with you. I like the setup and how it works. Now it's a little more expensive up front, but I think that it offers a lot more options. You don't just have to use the mini mating nuke frame. You can set them up with regular deep frames on one side and have the pass-throughs in there and let the bees start building the other side. And then you can introduce your queen cells in there and separate them up. But anyway, kind of neat. So Melissa and I are going to try a couple of those this year. If they work out well, we'll probably get a few more because that's going to be our focus a little bit more moving forward.
You're gonna dump
That's kind of what I do. I got 5 framers. I got some of those decoat boxes, nuke boxes, and
Dicot.
no, not Nicot. This is a decoat. Decoat. I might have said it wrong. Decoat.
DICOT.
Wooden boxes, plywood. And when I put a frame feeder in there, I can only put 3 frames in it. So I'll put a little feeder in there. It's a gallon feeder with maybe a quart of sugar water and 1 frame of bees and a cell. You know, when I want to make queens, I'll do that. Thank you, Uncle Junior. Coffee money. Appreciate that.
Yeah, RTX. That's what I was just saying. That's how gentleman that I know lives in Jacksonville. That's how he did it. He put them in a dark, cool area with feed, a couple bees, and let them build for a few days. Yep. And then he pulled them out. Once they started to build comb, that locked them in place. But other than that, they had no reason or want to stay. They would drift off to another colony is what he said they would do. Or sometimes he said they would just swarm up to a branch and hang there.
I know a guy he says he does the same thing, but he does it with the 5 frame nukes.
Okay.
He puts the feeder in there like I do. He'll take and pull his frames out to make splits, small nukes, and he'll dump a bunch of bees in there, close them all up where they can't get out, and he stacks them up on a table like 10 high. Just double row of them on a big table here and just stacks them up as high as he can stack them and leaves them in that dark shed until they have time to draw all that sugar water out of that frame feeder and draw comb, whatever they want to do.
Brian, I thought so much of them 2 and 3 frame nukes that I give all mine to Tom. He's got them. Maybe you can talk him out of them.
Well, I don't. So let me think about this. Were those all 2s or 3s, or there was a combination? I think
about half and half. I don't remember how many there was.
I don't. So I used some of those 3s last year. I didn't use any of those 2s. And actually, I'll tell you, Brian, if you wanted those 2s, I'll bring them for you. If you want them, I'll bring them to Navi. You can have them, or you can get them when you come to St. Louis in February. Either way, man, whatever you want. If you'll use them, they're yours. I just don't care for the 2s. I like the 3s.
What did they call it? It's not like I don't remember what they call it, but I took a 10 frame box and I divided it, put 3 dividers in there. What have 2 frame, 4 2 frame sections with an entrance on each side. And it did good the year I used it. But my issue was, if for whatever reason, if I pulled the frame out after the queen emerged and got mated, if she was down in there, I couldn't get my hand down in that 2 frame box.
So with the 2s too.
Yeah. I would have to wait till she got on that frame. I was at her mercy till she got on that frame. I couldn't really get my hand down and get her out. So I quit using it.
Those, Joey, stick your tongue down in there and they'll curl up on your tongue because they want the moisture. And then you can take them out and put them in another box. That's why I used to catch them out them 2 framers. Well, I'm just a plethora of information, aren't I, Joey?
Yeah. I guess if I was going to do it again, I'd probably build where I could do 3-framers. I think I could get my hand down in a 3-frame box.
Yeah, that's what I like about the threes. The twos, if you have a queen in there and you only have a 2-framer and they build the comb out and they're kind of snug, you in my opinion, you run a high risk of rolling that queen, because when you're pulling that frame out, you have like a 75% chance or not quite, I guess 66% chance she's going to be on one side or the other of the frame that you're going to be pulling out on, and you could potentially drag her. So that was the thing I didn't like about him as much, honestly. The 3 frames, I felt like I had a little bit more wiggle room. So, but JW, I did use those last year, or this year technically.
They don't make any difference. I didn't like them. I brought them all out there to you when I made that trip out there.
Well, what I did is, so I don't like them how they had the separate bottom board, the box, and then the lid. The lids are fine. I took and I screwed the bottom boards to them because I don't like 3 pieces. I only wanted the 2 pieces. So when I built some of my 2 and 3 framers, I actually just used plywood and painted them. And I built a telescoping cover for them, which I wouldn't do again. I would just do a board on top, it's all you really
trouble
need.
I had was just exactly what Joy said with those, in particular the 2s, the 3s too, was getting stuff out of them. You made the bottom board solid on them. The 2s are solid, I think, Tom.
They are.
I think some of the 3s that I had attached permanently, but I didn't attach them permanently. I just put strips on the sides and screwed them together where the bottom wouldn't come off.
Yeah, I got you. I don't remember the ones that you gave me. I don't remember that they were attached when I got them, unless I could be mistaken.
Yeah, they may have screw holes. I might have took them back apart when I put them up, but the trouble has, like just exactly what Joey was saying. I've got big hands anyway, and I killed about half my queens trying to get them out of the things. If you put them on solid, if it didn't come out on the frame, well, you couldn't get them, refine them. That's the reason I started using my tongue on them.
I like what Philip said. He said, I have 6-frame nukes with a removable divider, entrances at opposite ends, which honestly, you can use that ambidextrously. So you could utilize it if you didn't want to raise any more queens and you wanted to grow that 3-framer out to a 6-frame, close the entrance on one side, pull the divider, throw some frames on either side of them, and just let them grow out and overwinter them that way. So, I mean, it's like having to have less equipment, I guess.
Yeah, that'd be my suggestion to people if they're just starting out is to use some bigger. I like 5-frame stuff myself, but I'm not trying to make them very many queens anymore. So I've got a bunch of empty 5-frame boxes that Matt says he wants to try to utilize some of them this spring. So we'll see what happens. But I would suggest that they use bigger 8 or 10 framers and then put dividers in them bigger and double them up or triple them up, whatever you use.
Hey, Joey, I'll show you my nukes here.
Go open them up. Shine a light in them. Come on,
I'm
Philip.
showing you when it died out.
We need some excitement on here.
I was putting out some pertinent information there too, Philip, when you cut in on me. You know that, don't you? Huh?
Look out, Philip. He's going to come after
No,
you.
I missed it. All right, that's the bottom board.
Yeah.
That's the bottom board right there. It's got a 3-inch. Got some leaves on it. Got a 3-inch piece here. A 3/8 inch. Excuse me. See that? Then we throw this on it.
Philip, do you buy those or make the boxes?
I make all of this stuff.
Okay.
But I don't know if you can see. Let me see. I'm going this way where the light's better.
We can see the divider's notch.
Yeah, light.
Are you using like a piece of glue on?
I use a piece of 3/8 plywood.
Oh, okay, plywood. Gotcha.
What are them double two nukes, 2 framers?
They're 3-frame. That's a 6-frame nuke. It'll hold 3 frames on each side of that.
3 on each side.
What's nice about these is when you get ready, you might want to just harvest a queen or make a small split, you can end up with a pretty decent nuke.
Yeah.
You know, once you pull the queen out with a frame of brood, you kind of have a 5-frame nuke ready to go because they both are contributing to it. You could, I mean, I don't sell queens, but you could sell a queen and come away with a nuke if you get them both mated back from being mated.
Now you got both the entrances on the same end, or you reversing them?
No, they're reversed. See, there's one entrance there, and one right there.
Yeah, I can see it now. You couldn't see it before. I couldn't anyway. Yeah, got you.
This is just some old fence boards, you know, from a fence that got tore down for this bottom board. It's real quick and easy to make. It's got a couple of runners here on the bottom.
That the same material you're making them display stands out of, that fence board stuff?
No. This is free stuff. That and fence boards is expensive. That's a high. Oh yeah.
Just ask out of curiosity. I wouldn't stir up any trouble.
I came home and Noah's out here working on them. There, look at that.
Mm-hmm.
What a mess in this shop.
That Noah's keeping the business afloat. Good for him.
I remember when I used to have help at home.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
Hey, he gets paid for this. He's not too much of child labor.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm glad he's doing it because we might build a few more since we just about sold all of them that we pre-sold.
Yeah, bring a couple extras if you got them. I may want a couple more.
Yeah. He's got almost all of them. This is the ones with the finish on them, and those are over there getting ready to be finished.
How many sets do you have sitting there?
All right here, let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. About 8. Yeah, there's 8 there, and this is all the shells for those 8, I guess.
Oh, nice.
We take them and put them to. I mean, it looks like we're like mass producing them, but we take each one and put it together and make sure, because you know those little notches, even though the boards are all supposed to be 3/4, you know how wood is. It'll be little slight variations.
Oh yeah.
So we'll put them all together and work on the joints and make sure it all goes together easy.
Yeah, unless you're doing it with an automated machine, you know, they're going to have the little variances.
Yeah, we're doing it. We're doing it with a router table, and it's pretty good. It's not too hard, but sometimes they won't go. And the only problem we've had with these things, and it happened with Sean Booter. Oh gosh, I'm going to show you one of them that has a problem. But you see that where the router bit got a little crazy there. We've had a couple of them that were dropped, split right here, where when this piece was already in here.
Mm-hmm.
So now we used to sharpen this corner right here. Now we leave it rounded.
Okay.
And we also make absolutely sure when this piece goes in there, it doesn't put any stress at all on that joint.
Yeah.
So we don't have hopefully we don't have that problem. If anybody out there one has that problem, you know, we'll make them a new one.
I'll be honest with you. If they had some that broke, the best thing they could do is use some Tight Bond 3 on there, and I guarantee that part would not come apart again.
It come apart somewhere else.
That's what
it would. Yeah.
Sean,
exactly.
Yeah, Sean Booters says his came apart because he told me he offered to buy a new one because he knocked it off the table and it broke there. Said, well, you know what? We had one do the same thing, same exact thing. I said, let me send you another one. And on the one I sent him, I even put a butterfly inlay across that grain right there. So if he did drop it again, it wouldn't break. But, he's taking a break. What, you know, come on, man.
Hey, your dad's slave driving you, buddy. Don't let him do that to you. Take him out. Wrestle him down. Put it on video.
Tell him you're on your union break right now.
Hey, Tom, let me tell you what I did. We went to church on Christmas, and my daughter and I decided that we would where she decided she dropped everybody off at the church. We're only about a half mile from the church, so she dropped everybody off and brought the car back, and I walked back to church with her. Well, at the end of church, we decided we was going to walk. Well, we had to walk back and get the car to go pick everybody up. She decided about halfway home she wanted to race me.
I love it.
So she took off kind of in a good, but she was wearing like kind of heavy boots and everything. At least I had my tennis shoes on. So I've been doing a little walking on the treadmill, maybe a tiny bit of jogging. I was like, okay, if I can just stay with her, so I kind of just tried to get behind her.
Yeah.
And then I thought, I said, you know what? The only way I'm going to win this race if I can make her quit. So when we was probably a couple hundred yards from home, I just broke into a sprint, blew right by her, and ran as hard as I could until I heard her start walking. And I'm glad she did start walking because I was about to pull up, my lungs were about to explode.
Don't tell her that.
I ran across the street, felt like I twisted my ankle. It was terrible. So I got that. I started walking, and then I kind of kept looking back over my shoulder, and sure enough, she saw me walking, and she took off again, trying to catch me. I'm lucky that the house was where it was because I beat her by like 10 feet maybe, because I had to break into a sprint again. Almost killed me.
Did you tell her that old man muscle's still alive?
I told her, I said, I can't believe you got beat by a 60-year-old man. I said, but I'm going to take this moment to retire from my foot racing. Undefeated champion.
I remember the time that we were all, so most people know this, I have 6 other siblings, 3 brothers and 3 sisters. Well, I have one sister that's older. The rest of them are brothers and sisters younger than me. Well, everybody has kids with the exception of 2 of my siblings. And one of my siblings, my second youngest sister, has Down syndrome. So she won't have any kids. But regardless, we would all go to the lake house often. This is before my brother-in-law and sister built their house down there at Table Rock Lake. We would rent a big house all the time. And, there was one house that we had that was huge, and they had this huge room upstairs that was above the garage. Well, a couple of the boys were sleeping up there. Well, we heard them up there messing around. So my brother, Matthew, and I, who's my youngest brother, went up there and we're like, hey, what are you guys doing in here? And we were just kind of joking around with them a little bit and like, we're going to whoop up on you guys. And all of a sudden now some of the boys were teenagers and older. This is a few years ago. And they're like, oh, you can't take us old men and whatever. And I'm like, I looked at my brother Matthew. I'm like, you guys bring it, okay? There is no way, Philip, just much like you today, there was no way we were going to back down from that challenge.
Exactly.
And I'll tell you what, this thing happened so fast. Next thing you know, these 3 kids started ganging up on me and my brother. What they did is they would come in at both few angles and get on us from each end, right? So we didn't have a choice. Well, one of them got me down on the ground and on my knees, and my one nephew had my head inside of his arm, and he was like choking me out, like tight as he could, choking me out. And I knew if I didn't do something, I was going to pass out or something. So, and I have one of them pulled on my leg, so I can't stay up on they were trying to get me all the way down. Anyway, long story short, I looked up and my nephew's manhood was right there. I balled up my fist as hard as I could, and I swung a man-size Ooga Dooga. And I'll tell you what, as soon as I made contact, he let go like that. He drops to his knees, and then I spun around and got the other one. And he said I cheap shot at him, and I told him, I said, you were choking me out, man. What was I supposed to do? So survival. At that time, we got the upper hand on them all, and they all fell apart at that point. But survival, it was just always fun.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell a story. Well, Noah's sitting here. He can vouch for you. When he was in high school, every once in a while, you know how you are in your high school with your dad. You kind of poke your chest out and get in their face every now and again.
Oh, yeah.
And it never came to blows, but a couple of times I had to tell him, I was like, one of these days you're going to be able to take me, but today ain't the day.
Well, I'm pretty sure now my nephew.
I'm glad I don't tell him that anymore because I know the day might be here, so I'm not going to I'm not challenging him anymore, or he's not challenging me, thank goodness. But yeah, I told him, I said, one day, son, you're gonna be able to take me. But luckily, I was able to bluff him every time. Because I don't know, it probably would have been a tough
Right.
battle.
I'll tell you what, those kids had me winded that day. It was something else. We all had a good time though. It was fun. Everybody had fun. We'll pull the mat out on the back of the boat. There's a big blow up mat. We'll have wrestling matches on it, dads and the boys, and sometimes dads against dads and stuff. So it's just good family fun.
You know what happens though? They're still ready to go after about 15 minutes, and you're like, okay, game's over.
Well, the key is you have to slam them hard right away and knock the wind out of their sails so that they're done with it,
Right. Yeah, make them think about it a little bit.
That's right, Brian. That's right, buddy.
I had something I wanted to share tonight. It has nothing to do with beekeeping. And if anybody likes watching like unsolved mysteries or anything like that, you'd probably be interested in this. But back in 2017, I hope I don't start losing people. But back in 2017, we had a girl here that trying to keep the language where we won't get kicked out. She was unalived.
Oh no.
And nope, they didn't know who it was. And there was a lot of weird things that happened. And anyway, it went on for years and never got solved. And really, it's still not really solved, but there have been some updates. But I'm going to post a link here, but anybody wants to go watch it, post a link to this guy's podcast. Now, this girl, I didn't know her personally, but a lot of my family did. She grew up about 500 yards through the woods right here, and I never knew her because it was a poor family back there. And what this family did, they raised kids that didn't have homes that stayed with them. And she was one of them. She grew up right there. She rode the bus with my son to school. She's about the same age as him. Anyway, when that happened, I heard about it. I didn't know her that much, but you heard a little talk about it, and it just kind of like went away. And then this guy that did the podcast that I'm going to send a link to, he's a good investigator. He's a good reporter. He worked in California for several years for filming productions and all kind of stuff. He'll tell all that in this podcast. But he grew up right here in our parish. And he come back and started investigating this crime again because the sheriff's department didn't classify it. The coroner even classified it as a homicide. I guess I can say that word without getting kicked out. But they was certain ones wanted to say it was self-inflicted, and they even sent that over to a newspaper, and it got ran that way. So as far as the general public knew, it was self-inflicted. And a few years later, he started investigating, and he got a lot of information, and he did this podcast that I'm fixing to put out there. I don't want to give a lot of it away. But if y'all like to keep up with stuff like that, it's about 10 different videos in that podcast. He's got more stuff on his channel. It's called, what is it called? Let me go. Freeze Frame. See if the link could go in there. But that's his podcast part. If you go straight to his channel, you go over like where it says videos and lives and shorts and everything. You'll see podcast over. You can click on it and go to it too, or you can use this link. I think that link worked. Yeah, it looked like it worked. But anyway, it's not going to really give it away, but Christmas, I think the day before Christmas Eve, they made an arrest.
Great.
But I'm going to let the people watch this podcast and see what they think about it. Now, I'm going to tell y'all, when you hear it, you're going to hear names called. The first time I listened to it, I heard names. Didn't really think that much about it. I heard names, and it was like people I didn't know. But when this all happened and come to new light, I went back and rewatched it, and I guarantee you, I know or know of almost everybody that's talked about on this video. I never put it together who all these people were. And I mean, it just kind of brought it to another dimension for me, I guess. Once I figured out I knew these people.
How long is that podcast?
It's 10 videos, and I think they're like 30 minutes per video or something like that. 20 minutes, 30 minutes. And he does a real good job with it. I mean, it'll pull you in. If you're traveling, you can listen to it because there is some pictures, but most of it's just audio and sound and everything. And he'll mention in there other places you can go watch it. I think you can watch it on. I don't know. I think he's got a Facebook channel, but I don't know if he actually posted that podcast on it. But he tells you where all you can go watch it if you don't do YouTube. But even one place where the woman that actually raised the girl, it says that woman lost one of her own children several years ago. The first time I listened to it, it didn't click. Then when I listened to it again, she called his name, or he called the name and said that he was fatally injured in a car accident so many years ago. Y'all want to know who run up on that accident? Me and my assistant foreman that was working with me.
Oh, wow.
We were traveling together, and we come up on it. And I tried to help get that boy out of that vehicle. He was peeing. That was her son, and I never knew it. The lady that raised the girl that I'm talking about, it never connected with me the first time. Stuff like that. It was just
small world.
It was weird how I started learning that I knew all these people. And the family of the person that was arrested camped 3 years in a row right beside us at the fairground a few years ago.
Holy cow. I never even knew that.
I didn't never put it together.
Huh.
When I'd listen to hear their names, it didn't connect who it was. And when I saw the boy, I said, I know that person. And I got to digging into it. And it was weird to my granddaughter too, because she knew them all. I go to church with a sister, the girl that was the one that was deceased. Her sister goes to the same church I go to.
Huh.
Hey, Joey, how long ago did that happen?
2017 in October. It happened the week after this fair we have in October every year. But it happened in 2017, and the case you'll see how things go on around here with some of the lawmakers and everything.
Yeah.
And he ain't, as Tom says, he ain't wrong about some of the things he says about them.
No, that's some of that small town justice is for real. I grew up in a small town like that.
The case went from the parish sheriff to state when it shouldn't have never went to the state police. They didn't have the manpower to get back on it. They was trying to bring it back alive, evidently, or just get it out of their way, one or the other. I don't know which way that was going. But the new sheriff, when he came in, he went and got the case back. He called him, and he's a new sheriff. He was a retired military guy. I'm gonna tell you why he run for sheriff. He owns a cattle business, a beef raising business, and the law allows him to sell his beef in his own little property right there. The law allows it. It's all legal, and there's certain taxes that he don't have to pay. But the past sheriff sued him trying to get tax from him, but lost. And that guy said, "Well, if this is getting done to other people, I need to look into this." And it kind of talked him into running for sheriff.
Yeah.
And anyway, when he won, he come in, and this podcast put a lot of light on it. And he said, "This is something I need to look into," basically. And he didn't know how to go about it, so he called the state police and see if there was some kind of formality to get that case back to him. He said, "Just come." They told him, "Just come get it."
Huh.
There wasn't anything you had to do; just come get it.
They were probably understaffed as well.
And he basically said, "We're still running with the same case. It's going to be a different set of eyes on it and a new driver. We're on the same trip." And he come into office last year. It's been almost a year. And they made an arrest on this case just a few days ago.
Oh, wow.
But I hate to say, I hope y'all enjoy the podcast. You should. But it was all because somebody's life.
It also seems like you got to have another district attorney too to be able to do that.
Well, the one that was there ain't there no more, and so there's a different one there too. And I knew the law enforcement, and I like some of these people, but I've seen it like Bogalusa PD, Franklinton PD. I've seen it all my life what they do. I know what some of them's good people, and some of them shouldn't have been there.
Yeah.
And some of them got fired years ago, and I was happy when I heard. I celebrated. I went out and celebrated. Good job. But look, I worked 27 years in corrections, so I know where the good and the bad is. I learned where the good and the bad was, who to trust and who not to trust. When I was there, and it's that way everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
I knew a fella, Joey. He was actually, I called him Uncle Paul, or Uncle Doug, we called him. He ran a filling station back when he did full service for 20 years after he got rid of full service. But he used to tell a story about how he was a deputy town cop. They had the town had just like one cop. No, he might have been deputy sheriff. I don't think they had a deputy. They had one town cop. But there was he was just doing a patrol downtown, and this guy drove through and was doing a little bit over the speed limit, and he pulled him over. And the guy didn't have registration. The car was about to break down and didn't have his license or any of that stuff. So he didn't know what to do. So he called back to the office on his radio. They said, and this was his very first night out doing patrols by himself. So they said, "Well, we're going to send a state trooper to help you with this." So they called the state trooper in and they kind of show him what to do. And he didn't know what was going on. He said, of course, it's a small town. You know what his training was, right? Probably got sworn in and given the key to the car.
Morning five.
Yeah. So the state trooper said, "Yeah, we're going to hard copy this guy." And he's like, he didn't even know what that meant. He's like, but he thought it sounded cool. He said, "Yeah, we're going to hard copy him." So they told him that his fine for all his offenses was like $25. And he didn't have any money. He didn't have but $10 on him. So he's like, the trooper goes, "Well, we got to take him to jail." He started feeling bad then, He's like, he felt like he really just got much, So they took him to jail. And he said he's sitting there writing up the report. And he said he went over there and he took $50, all he had in his wallet. He went over there and slipped it to the guy through the bars. He paid $15 of the only ticket he ever wrote. And he knew right then he wasn't cut out for law enforcement.
Yeah. Well, when I was younger, when I was a teenager, the law enforcement that I knew or knew of, most of them were a little bit different than a lot of them. Some of them just wanted to see how many people they could take to jail. But
Right.
there was one man, he was from this area, and he actually was a sheriff several years ago. But he only did like 2 terms and retired out. And but here's what would happen. Me and 2 of my cousins would be in our little sports cars, clowning around, driving a little too fast, going into town to go maybe eat a hamburger or whatever. This trooper pulls us over, and he said he walked up to the first one. He said, "I'm gonna tell your daddy." The other one was they were brothers. He walked up to him. He said, "Your daddy too." He knew him. And he looked at me and pointed at me. He said, "I'll just take you to jail," laughing at me, you know. But he was picking. He could say he didn't even check us. He knew us. He said, "Boys, y'all slow down. Just like
Right.
family, y'all slow down and go, get on." He knew we were kids being silly.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
That's the way all the adults around here used to treat us that way. I
Mhm.
drag race in my Camaro with a friend of mine that was in Torino, right up here at middle of downtown Pine. It still just got one stop sign in the middle of town with a caution light. But we drag raced right in front of another state trooper's house. I wasn't in my Camaro. I'm sorry, that was a different race. I was in an old '57 Chevrolet. And before I could get back to the house, I mean, we did that, and then both of us turned around and went back to my house, and my daddy had already got a phone call. Your boy's out here drag racing that old car. I didn't get to go to school in it for about a month to ride the bus, but
One,
that's the way things got handled back in those
yeah.
days.
One time when I was in, I guess I was 18, but I hadn't been 18 long. And I don't know why I decided this. I think a lot of people decide at one time, but I decided I was going to drink me some Mad Dog 2020. I don't know if you ever heard of that. And to this day, I can't even be around anybody opening that bottle or I'll want to throw up. But I put it on the counter, and the sheriff was there, who I knew personally when I was putting it on the counter. And this sheriff, he had a hair lip. And, his name was Fred Scott. Real good, real nice fellow. And he goes, Philip, if you drink that, we're gonna have to put you under the jail tonight. And I said, "Nah, Fred, I'm good. I can handle it." So had he found me that night, he would have had to put me under the jail. But he didn't find me, thank goodness. He was right. I don't know what he would have done to. But yeah, he knew. He knew right then when he saw that I was heading down the wrong path. I wish he'd have just taken it and said, "I ain't letting you drink this."
Yeah. Yeah. It wasn't much longer after that incident with that trooper. I started dating his niece. We even got a little bit closer then. He was a good dude. He was all about kids. He'd he's another one that owned a dairy, closed it down, and he turned one of his good flat fields into a baseball field where all the kids could come play baseball all the time. Just the kind of person he was. He did that for years and years, and then he ran for sheriff for a couple of years.
Most of those troopers in those small towns, they'll get out on the highway, but they won't write too many tickets for local people.
Yeah.
That's people passing through. It's not going to catch a break. But
Yeah. When my wife was pregnant with our first boy, she started having pains. I mean, she wasn't too far along from having the baby, and it scared us. And it was about midnight, and we jumped in the car, and I took off to Bogalusa, Louisiana, the hospital there. It was the best one to go to at that time. and I was flying. We were in that Camaro, and when I get in that thing, sometimes it wasn't nothing but a yellow streak. But I was moving on, and then blue and lights come on Highway 10. I pulled over real quick, and they pulled up behind me, and they had him, that trooper, and a deputy were working together. I guess they had some stuff going on, and they walked up there. I knew them both,
Mhm.
and they said, "Son, where are you going so fast?" I said, "My wife's pregnant. She's having pains." He said, "Get out of here. Get to that hospital and drive safe." And that was the end of it,
Right.
you know. But they didn't even question it. But that's the way people were back in the old days.
Mhm.
And we had I know one guy. He was a deputy, and it was just it was the kind they needed on the force back in those days. They'd send him to the rough areas, and he would just put a whooping on the people there instead of bringing them to jail. He just put a
Yeah.
whooping on them. They had to keep giving him new flashlights. He kept tearing them up.
I don't know. I don't know if they still do it, but back when I was uh, running around like that, if you got in a fight in New Orleans, first of all, they didn't care who started it. You're both going to jail, and you're pretty much both going to get whooped up on up by the police. They
Jefferson
didn't put it.
Parish. Jefferson Parish was the worst place to get caught, stopped by a cop.
They did not, and you knew it when you went down on Bourbon Street. You better not get in a fight, because even if you won the fight, you were going to lose to the police.
Yeah,
They were not going to treat you, no matter who started it.
yeah,
They
they didn't
care.
play. They didn't play.
They'd rough you up. They didn't put up with any nonsense on Bourbon Street, because that's they don't want that kind of stuff going on down there.
Yep. Well, that boy that was with me that come up on that wreck I was talking about, he was a rough teenager, and he was rough in his 20s. You know, he's had a life changing moment. He's a good guy now. He'll do anything for anybody. Goes to church all the time. Give you a shirt off his back. But when he was in his 20s, him and some of his buddies went to Jefferson Parish, and they got to cutting up over there, and those deputies pulled up on them and gave them some reasons to be scared. They said, "Well, I tell you what we're going to do, boys." He said, "Y'all get back across that bridge and don't let me see y'all back in Jefferson Parish." And then they said, "Yes, sir." That was the one they called a twin span over in Slidell. It's only the 5 mile bridge instead of the 25-mile bridge.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, anyway, I didn't mean to throw it way off again, but I just wanted to throw that, and I'm gonna put that link in there again for anybody who wants to watch that podcast.
Yeah.
It's kind of interesting, and I can tell you, it got more interesting to me when I realized I've didn't necessarily know these people personally, but I always saw them in passerby. You know, I've sat right next to them in ball games and stuff like that.
So let me tell you a funny. It's funny now, I guess, but I went down to the LSU ball game. We had a couple of friends that was getting married, so it was a bachelor party for two different guys. And we went down and we watched the LSU game on Saturday night, and we drove over and watched the Saints on Sunday. So that was probably 10, 12 of us. And so we're out there tailgating at the LSU game. And of course, you know, there's a lot of libations and stuff going on there. So all of a sudden, there's some of the, we was out of college just a year or two, but several of the LSU young students, they started getting into it with a couple of guys that we do within our group. They was twin brothers, and I don't know what they was arguing about, but I was standing there talking to a fellow by the name of Rhett Hill, and there was 3 Hill brothers, and they would fight. You didn't want to get in a fight with them because they didn't know how to quit. And you could whip them, but when you got tired, they was going to let you have it. So I'm standing there just talking to Rhett. We're standing under one of them big old oak trees with the branches that come down to the ground. You know, it's almost like a clubhouse underneath one of those things. So I'm standing there and the fight breaks out. And I'm talking to Rhett and I said, Rhett, why aren't you in that fight? I said, I've never known you to pass up a good fight. And he said, Philip, he goes, I can't. I said, I'm trying to get into nursing school. I can't afford to get arrested or get in a fight. And I said, well, that's smart of you. But then all of a sudden, I look over and my buddy, a real close friend of mine, he had a guy on the ground and a guy jumped on his back. And so I said, well, Red, I gotta go get in this. So I knocked the guy off of David's back. And when I did, the guy jumped up and started screaming at me. He was waving his arms up and down, telling me how bad he was going to whip up on me. And I don't think I hardly hit him. I just knocked him off of him. And I'm looking at him. I'm kind of getting ready for him to come at me. And all of a sudden, he disappeared. And all I saw was Rhett standing over the top of him, swinging it air. Rhett had hit him one time and knocked him completely out. And then by then the police were coming. So everybody just scattered, both sides. And the only poor sucker that got arrested was the guy that was knocked out on the ground.
They said y'all should have picked him up and drug him off with you.
That was for his buddies to do. He wasn't on our side. So
yeah, I know.
But I'll tell you what, my friends, when he was sitting in the back of the police car, they were walking up and tapping on the window and pointing at him and laughing. I thought that was kind of mean, though. The only reason he was knocked out, so he couldn't run off, and the police got him.
I had a guy one time. Here's what happened. My foster brother had got accused of something. We were at a malt stand here at home, and a guy that everybody really liked, but he was a tough dude in fight. Boy, that dude would fight. And he come grab my foster brother up and picked him up on the hood of the car and was saying what he done. It wasn't him. It wasn't him that done it. Somebody just said he did. But anyway, that's all here or there. But anyway, I said, where was this supposed to happen? And he looked at me and said, who pulled your chain? And I said, there ain't nobody got to pull my chain. Well, then one of his buddies blindsided me and knocked me down, knocked my feet out from under me. And I got up and he backed up out of the way and everything. Nobody else did nothing else. It just kind of ended there. The next day, I was in school. This guy was out of school. The next day, I was sitting in a classroom. That boy walks up to the classroom shaking. He knocked on the door, and the teacher said, yeah, can I help you? And she knew who he was. She said, I'd like to talk to Joey Rawls. And she said, okay. And she asked me, if I wanted to talk to him. I said, sure, I'll go out there. And that man apologized to me because I got some uncles that watch out for their kinfolk.
Right.
And these two people are kind of buddies too. The boy that blindsided me and my uncle, they buddies. But he told him, he said, you go apologize to that boy right now. Not after school, right now. And he said, if they don't let you on that school ground, me and you fix it. He knew what was going to happen.
Right.
So that boy come to me and apologized, and it wasn't about Joey. He wasn't scared of Joey. He was a much bigger man than I was. Several years older than me too. But he knew what my uncle could do. But anyway, all that's in a nutshell with beekeeping somehow. I don't know. Y'all put that in there somehow.
We've covered that. We covered fist fights and cows.
Yeah. Well, look, my daddy always told me, and I say this all the time to people, when I go to school, do not start any trouble. If you do, when you get home, there's going to be trouble. He said, but if trouble starts and you don't start it, you make sure you finish it. That was his motto.
Yeah.
And I've got in a couple of fights at school, and every one of them was taken up for somebody else that was fixing to get beat up.
Yeah.
So I never got a whipping from my dad. I got a bunch of whippings from my daddy, but it was never for fighting because I always fought for a reason, you know, and he wouldn't. I had to take the paddling from the principal for fighting. No matter who won the fight,
Yeah.
you were fighting at school grounds, so both of you going to get a paddling.
But
And
they probably didn't. Our principal would give you an option. He said, "I whip you, or I can tell your dad about it." And we'd go, "I'll take the whipping."
Yeah.
Don't tell my dad.
Yeah. I, I would have just liked to have done that too, but it would get back home to your parents either way, you know. But
Right.
one boy had grabbed a Coke bottle and he was fixing to go after my buddy with it, and I stepped in front of him. I don't know who that was. He just went out.
Well, I tell people, they talk about how guns and they don't allow knives or guns or anything in school, but good grief. When I was in school, everybody had a pocket knife and everybody had a gun out in the car. So they was probably going hunting after school. And we get in fist fights out on the school ground, and nobody ever pulled their knife out of their pocket, and nobody ever went out to their car to get their gun. It wasn't even.
Yeah.
It wasn't
Same.
even considered. It wasn't even a thought.
Every boy had a pocket knife when I was in school.
And I never saw a person pull a knife on somebody else. And and there was plenty of opportunities where people got mad at each other and got in a fight. They usually be best friends right after. But
well, the boy that I had to step in front of with the Coke bottle in his hand, we were like 200 yards apart. Our houses were like 200 yards apart. But I had to break it up because he was fixing to jump on my best friend at the time, you know. Oh, we losing people. We're down to 40. That was back in my old days. I can't fight nobody. I can't run from them no more. So I had to do something different.
I never could fight anybody. I got close a few times, but somehow I always talked myself out of it. JW being quiet over there. He's probably quite a brawler.
No comment.
I don't think JW can talk about it. It's part of his probation. Doesn't allow him to talk about them days.
Well, there's a boy. He's younger than me. He's a preacher. He's we went to school. Me and his brothers went to school together. He was a younger brother, and later on in years, he started preaching. His first shotgun he bought was from a teacher, and the transaction was in a classroom. That's the way life was back in those days. He told him he was saving up to give him a shotgun for squirrel hunting. He said, "What are you looking for?" And he told him what he was wanting. He said, "I got what you might want." And the next day, the teacher brought it to school and took it to the classroom and showed it to him. He bought it from him right there. He went and put it back in the car. He wasn't in a car. He was riding a bus. But he put it back in the teacher's truck. And when the bus come pick us up to take us home, he went and got a shotgun, rode the bus home with the shotgun in his hand. No shells. But it was a different day, different lifestyle.
I'm a firm believer, not that they ought to have guns in the school, but I am a firm believer that they ought to teach gun safety in the middle school and high school. At least all four. There was some boys that they just won the state championship, and they was having a party at one of them's house. And they went upstairs, and one of them pulled out a rifle and I believe, accidentally shot the other one. And he didn't think the gun was loaded. And I just thought, boy, if they just had been taught how to deal with that situation, that never would have happened. But you
My
just
daddy used to tell me I always treat it like you got a rattlesnake by the head.
Well, the NRA, which gets a bad rap on the news, there are three rules of gun safety. If you follow them, if you just follow the first rule, nobody's going to get hurt or die. But the first one is always keep your gun pointed in a safe direction. And that's if you do that, you can fail at rule number 2, which is keep your finger off the trigger until you're ready to shoot. Because it's easy to be holding your gun, you don't realize where your finger is. And then the rule number 3 is always treat your gun like it's loaded.
Yeah.
And like I said, you can like that boy failed it. He put his finger on the trigger and he didn't treat it like it was loaded. But if he had just not pointed it at that other kid, that tragedy never would have happened. But yeah.
In my mind, every one of them I got in my safe is loaded.
Mm-hmm.
It's always in my mind. It's not
right.
necessarily loaded. I know which ones are. All of them aren't, but I know which ones are. But I don't know who's touched that gun. My wife's got the combination of that safe too. When I go pick one out of there to clean it or whatever, I'm not going to be stupid and say I didn't load it last time I was in here, so it's unloaded. That's the way some people think.
I was teaching shotgun at one of the camps, and there was another instructor working with this young man, and he had never handled a shotgun in his life, but he was in the shotgun merit badge class that year. And the guy came and got me and told me that he loaded that gun, and that young man, the gun pointed at the ground, and he pulled the trigger and discharged it right into the ground, and scared the hell out of the instructor. You can imagine. And the instructor kind of yelled at him too. I think he just reacted, but he came and got me because the young man was really upset, really, really upset.
Do they still do like hunter safety courses for kids before they?
They do. I took it when I was in Louisiana. In Texas, it's required before you get a hunting license if you're under 18. But
when my kids
I told the young man,
we used to do it at schools. That was actually done at schools.
Well, I told that young man, I said, listen, what's rule number 1? And he told me what rule number 1 was: keep your gun pointed in the safe direction. I said, was it pointing in the safe direction? He said, yes, sir. Mm-hmm. I said, what's rule number 2? And he said, keep your finger off the trigger. I said, was your finger off the trigger? He said, no, sir, it wasn't. And I said, what's rule number 3? He said, treat the gun as it was loaded. I said, was it loaded? He said, yeah, it was loaded. Well, the instructor only gives them one shell at a time anyway. The guy just put the shell in the gun. And I said, so you failed at number 2 and number 3? And he's like, yes, sir. I said, but nobody got hurt because you followed rule number 1. That's why it's number 1, not number 3.
Yeah.
So he was still shook up. I couldn't get him to shoot the gun again. Scared. He'd probably come back later and get it.
I'm going to make one comment, boys. That's the end of my conversation. Has anybody discussing this ever been shot at or had to shoot at somebody?
I never have.
I've been shot at. I never shot at anybody.
Well, yes, if you're counting pellet guns. Some of those dumb things we did when I was a kid.
Yeah, but ain't exactly anything you have to do is all I'm going to say, and that's the end of my conversation.
I tell my kids when I got them a gun and we were out there just shooting targets or hunting or whatever, I said, you don't point your gun at anything unless you intend to take its life. And that's a responsibility. You don't point it at anything unless you can live with that fact, whether that's an animal or a human. That's how serious it is.
Protecting yourself will change your life.
You don't have you don't use it to scare or warn or anything else. There's no sense in pointing it if you don't intend to use it. So
let me give you a little funny side of this story. My dad used to have a camp on the Pearl River, and for years he had it, and you had to get to it by boat. And the neighboring camp just around the bend was another electrician. I was an electrician, my dad was an electrician, and that guy was an electrician. But he was also later a senator of our area in Louisiana. He was a representative, then a senator for 2 terms on each one of them. But he was good friends with my dad.
Daisy, sit.
But what was that? But anyway, it was in the middle of the night. That senator and one of his buddies had walked through the swamp and brought a loggerhead turtle and tied it to my dad's front doorknob of his camp. And they knocked on the door and ran out in the woods. And when Daddy opened that door, that turtle, it pulled that turtle up through that door, and he jumped back. It scared him a little bit. And he reached behind that door and grabbed that shotgun and pumped it and shot up in the air. And all of them used to call Daddy Zeke. His name was Melvin, but they used to call him Zeke. Everybody that knew him called him Zeke. Said, hold up, Zeke, it's us, it's us. He said, I know who it is, you SOBs. Boom! They never tied another turtle to Daddy's front door of his camp. That's what your friends will do to you. That was more of a funny side of a gun story.
Hey, Matt, what's up with the Sandy Valley Sugar Company?
Taking a break tonight. You know what? I'm not making any fun today. I took a break, so day off.
Huh.
Yeah, but we're in full production mode. Probably a couple 100 pounds a day. So
good gracious.
Yeah,
that's a lot of cooking, man.
It is. I've got it down to where I'm making 3 batches at once, so I'm spending about an hour and a half of actual working on it, and then the rest of the time is just watching temperatures before I process it and get it into form. So
you still have sugar left?
Yeah. Yep.
Wow, can't believe you haven't gone through all that.
No, not yet. It's definitely I've definitely put a good dent in it, but still have. Yeah, there's a good portion of it still left. I don't know, at least a sack and a half probably.
I done forgot the price, but I was at Sam's the other day, and it's still cheaper to buy 10-pound bags than it is the 25-pound bag. That's just crazy. Mm-hmm. That's weird.
Yeah, from what I gather, and Tom, just trying to search out sugar prices and stuff like that. From what I gather, anything with dairy and or sugar is pretty closely, let's say, pretty closely watched with pricing, through the government. They're not just going to let that get too cheap. So it's a commodity that, always is going to bring a certain amount of money. So I don't know. It's always a game trying to find it as cheap as you can, just like anything.
Yeah, I've been buying mine at Aldi, and I buy it in the 4-pound bags because that's the cheapest I can find it.
Mm-hmm.
But it went up. It was $2.65 for a 4-pound bag for a long time, but now it's $2.89, I think. But that's still cheaper than Walmart. Any size.
Yeah.
I found through our search in the last few years, when you're talking bulk sugar, you really have to get in the not just 1,000 or 2,000 pounds to get the price down. You almost have to get in like the 10,000 pound range before you can even start moving on price much, which is
Really?
kind of crazy to me, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
You would think that if you're like, hey, I want 2,000 pounds of sugar, you get like an extremely good deal.
Mm-hmm.
People
Right.
don't, these companies don't bat an eye at that. So I don't know. It's just one of those things where, like Matt said, it's pretty, I feel like it's heavily controlled as far as what that gets to. So, I mean, you kind of have to, I don't know, like you said, get something that's like a floor sweeping, that doesn't have, rat nasty stuff in it and all that jazz. So,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I wonder. Yeah, I was hoping Joey would try it, see what that Domino's plant there out of New Orleans would sell it for, but I don't think we ever checked on that.
Usually, if you do enough searching around, most states will have, let's just call it a sugar refinery, either on the east or the west side or north or south. I mean, it may be one state over, but there's usually one fairly close. Now, whether or not you can get in there with an account to pick it up and even find out when that bulk rate is available, but there are companies that you can call and get registered with. Now, again, like even with that was just like on a seconds list. So whenever that becomes available, they'll notify. But until then, you're just stuck kind of playing the waiting game. You have no idea when it's going to come.
I'll tell you where I did find a good price on it, although I don't have an account. There's a company called Restaurant Depot,
Mm-hmm.
and if you own a restaurant, I don't think they charge a membership. You're allowed to
You
buy
have
there, and
to-
they
as long
had
as you have
good
a
price.
business tax ID number, you're good. You don't have to have a restaurant.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
Philip, if you have a tax ID number or whatever for any
I
business,
do.
you go in there and buy.
Mm-hmm.
Because I would say if anybody does and they have the ability to, that's a good spot to buy anything from stainless tables to any type of stuff that you might need in a honey house, especially if you're trying to get registered. You have to have certain types of materials and things like that.
Mhm.
Those are good
Yep.
places to buy stuff. So that's not, I mean, like you said, good for sugar, but they're good for a lot more than that too. And you don't have to be a restaurant. You just have to have that business tax ID number, and they'll sell to you.
Mm-hmm. Yep, that's the backup place where we would purchase sugar from if we weren't able to get it in super sacks. So
Yeah.
just pound wise or price per pound, it's within 4 or 5 cents of what we can find.
I
Whenever
actually
we're
like
alerted.
this.
So
I actually like the super sacks, honestly. I mean, for what we've got, because I mean, I can pick them up and move them and put those barrels under them. We can take a 2,000 pound super sack. Now it takes at least two, if not a third person, is kind of helpful. We lay a big tarp out there out in the concrete apron up outside of our salt bin and pick up that bag with the skid steer, and then we get all the barrels. And I'm using you can do it a 55 gallon barrel will work. You can get under it, and I can get my pick height high enough to get it done. But I like the 18 gallon barrels because they're a lot easier to move, and they weigh in at about 145 to 50 pounds once they're completely full of sugar. But we can move those a lot easier around and store them as it is a food grade barrel, and we can get those mixed in a big mixing tank really easily and get that moved around. I would say the second best thing, as long as you have an area that doesn't have pest issues, mice, things like that, is getting it in the 50 pound bags would be nice and helpful too. But you have to keep that away from mice and other things like that.
Somebody's asking, do you sell and ship fondant, Matt?
yes, we do. You can contact us on our Facebook page or Sandy Valley Honeyco at gmail.com is our website. Or email, I'm sorry.
Hey, Roy, that would really depend on where you're at and how much you're buying. Because again, like I said, a super sack's going to run about 2,000 pounds, and you may not actually save that much, believe it or not, buying one super sack.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you're talking, if you'd probably have to go in, if you're going to try to negotiate, telling them you want 10, 20 plus thousand pounds of sugar before you're probably going to make a dent in that. Or find like what they call seconds, or like a floor sweep, or something that has gotten a little bit hard, not so hard that you can't use it, but just where they can't, it's not fine and granulated. A lot of these food manufacturing places, whatever they're using it for, won't use it if it's gotten a little bit hard. So you can get it like that. And I've got it like that before. Matt, did you ever get any of those bags that had just a little bit of scale on them, a little bit hard? I don't remember.
A little bit. I knew that they were sweeps because I found some yellow jackets and kind of like bees that had gotten into the train car or something, snacking on dry sugar, and then wound up getting put into the sack. So it was probably, I don't know, a dozen bees in the whole 2,000 pounds, but at some point it was at least stored to where bees could fly and get to it. One of the last times I picked up sugar, he had mentioned that it was sweep, so I'm believing it's coming from train cars, or that's how they don't really, I guess they don't advertise when those seconds come available, because they have to, I believe they rescreen it, and get some of that debris or any debris that they can out of it, so it's as clean as possible.
Yeah, I really don't care if there was a little bit of dirt in there. I just don't want any feces and stuff in there. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. I tell you,
a
from
little bit
the
of
rest,
dirt's no big deal.
all the sugar that came in super sacks is really clean and dry. I did find a live caterpillar in one of the sugar bags from Restaurant Depot. I have no idea how a caterpillar could have lived in a sugar bag, but he was still moving around, and
That's
I
funny.
couldn't believe it. Hopefully, it's not an invasive species because it wound up in my front yard. But
Hey, he was fat and sassy after he came out of that bag, wasn't he?
yeah, he was. He was. He had it made until I got my hands on him. But I gave him the best life possible. I just got him out of there. But yeah, it's, as a beekeeper, finding as cheap feed as possible, it's a big deal. So it's helpful, to source it as cheap as possible for sure. Bottom numbers or bottom line.
Yeah.
They're a ton, Carl. 2,000 pounds, super sacks, most of them.
You'll see sand and gravel and other items shipped, and I mean they ship anything large quantity in one of those sacks, all kinds of stuff.
Well, like I said, the last time I got 3 of those super sacks, and they were all at 2,000 pounds each.
Mm-hmm.
And with his forks, he poked holes in 2 of the 3.
He did the same thing for me.
Oh man! I mean, the guy had like 6 or 7 foot forks on there, and I'm not going to
bless his heart.
He wasn't the best operator when it comes to that. That's all.
All I know is that that sugar was going in the back of my truck, so he could poke a hole in it or dance on it or do whatever he wanted. It was mine at that point. So
well, he recognized that he poked a hole in one of the bags. He's like, I poked a hole in it. And I'm like, just leave it alone. It'll drain down until it stacks up enough, and then it'll stop. And I'm like, if you keep pulling away,
it'll stop, Tom, unless you got some friend comes out and takes his finger and
yeah.
I was like, JW, what's that right there? And I poked my hole in it. Here comes the sands through the hourglass. It's like Guiding Light commercial. Come on, like
it's old Days of Our Lives, right?
Yeah, Days of Our Lives. Just sitting there pouring on the floor. It's like, sorry, JW, I shouldn't have touched it.
When I was still employed at the prison, anytime they would spill sugar, they would always sweep it up, and they'd call me, and I'd come get it, and I'd use it to just make sugar water back for the beans.
Yep.
And sometimes they would go a while without spilling any. And there was a girl working over there in that kitchen, and I'd call her. I said, y'all don't forget now, if you have any sugar spills, because it's always put in the report that they disposed of it, for sanitation reasons. If anything, any kind of food product was spilled, it was just cleaned up and disposed of for sanitation reasons. And I told him, I said, you spill sugar, sweep it up and send it to me. I'm not going to use it for human consumption. I'm going to make sugar syrup and feed bees. Every time I'd call over there and remind them, they said, I think we just spilled some. I'll send you some in a little bit.
That's cool. A couple of those things that I got that were a little bit clumpy, we actually had to go in there with shovels. I took some shovels. I told my boys, I said, go out there and knock the dirt off of them the best you can. And then I had them scooping some of that out of there on a couple of the hard ones that we had gotten before. Cause the guy's like, well, they're a little bit hard. And I'm like, I'll take them. We could actually, 2 guys could actually unload 2,000 pounds out of a super sack, which is kind of difficult to do because we, having to get that bag rolled down. They could do it in 45 minutes and get it all into 150 pound barrels. That's like that one that you took, JW, or the couple that you had, those little blue barrels, the ones that seal up nice and tight. Those work really good because they'll keep moisture out, keep pests and all that other good stuff out of there. I think we still had probably, I want to say 5,000 or 6,000 pounds of sugar left after I finished feeding. So I'll have enough to get through part of next year. As long as it's a good year, may not need any. The Uncle Junior said Mr. Ed said he never feeds his bees sugar water. I don't think anybody wants to feed their bees because it's not cost prohibitive. Well, I shouldn't say that. It is cost prohibitive because dead bees don't make any honey the following year. But,
there's a
every
lot
area is a little different.
for his hives.
Yeah.
There's
I
a
mean,
lot
Mr. Ed will tell you, he's like, I'm a lazy beekeeper. And, he obviously, means that with goodwill. He takes care of them, but he doesn't want to do any more than he has to, when it comes to that. I don't want to feed my bees any more than I have to either, honestly, just to make sure they've got plenty of stores to get them through winter. If you have a poor year in any location, there may not have been enough honey or nectar come in, throughout the season to even sustain them. So I know sometimes people
walk through my yard, just like today. I went through picking up some that looked like when I first come on, we was talking about how they wasn't, or yesterday or day before yesterday, about 80% of the hives were really flying good. And then you had the rest of them didn't look like they were doing anything. But I did the little thump check and there are bees in there. And when I picked it up, they're heavy. I didn't video none of that. I didn't want to do it just for the sake of a video, but they still heavy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I never fed on some of mine.
My colonies shrink way down, and you don't see that traffic.
Yeah.
Well, the other thing about feeding sugar, if you're going to leave honey on there for them, you don't need to feed them. But some of us take just about every drop of honey we can. To buy more sugar with.
That's understandable. If you need that honey, take it and give them sugar water.
Yeah.
That's what Randy's daddy used to say it all the time. He said, I'll trade a gallon or a quart of sugar water for a quart of honey any day.
Absolutely.
Well, if anybody has any doubts about that too, if bees can't survive and winter well on actual sucrose sugar or sugar water, whatever, look up oh my gosh, University of Georgia, Lewis Bartlett, and he actually did a video with Bob Binney, but he has some information on his own. Go there and look at it. He'll talk to you about what it looks like if you're feeding anything from high fructose corn syrup, the 55, or sugar and honey. As far as how bees do, I'm sorry, I meant nectar, technically. He has a whole breakdown and it shows exactly how that works with them and health of the colony and all that. So, I mean, after watching a few of those videos, and there were some extensive studies that have been done on, sugar or table sugar, and bees do really well on it as far as that goes. So, I mean, everybody can treat their bees how they want and feed or not feed, what have you. But, I mean, you can look at it from a monetary perspective. If you can get whatever, 10 pounds or $10 a pound of honey, or $12 a pound, or $15 a pound, and sugar is going to cost you, per pound, let's just say 65 cents or whatever it's going for right now. It might have dropped a little bit. I mean, you can do the math on that. So,
I'm paying 70 or more. Yeah.
I mean, even if you're paying $1 a pound for it, I mean, it's still, it's a no-brainer there. So,
is Brian still in here, Flower Street? Is he still in the chat?
I haven't seen a comment from him for a while. He might be hanging out in the background though.
What I just thought of, I'm not trying to change the subject, but Utah, where'd he go? Utah man. I'm wondering if he watches Brian and Todd's channel, watches their show every other Thursday.
Yep, he's in there. Flower Street's there.
Utah man, you need to go to Brian and Loma Vista's chats. It's every other Thursday. What is it? The first and Y'all
Yeah,
gonna
when
have
is
to
it
go
next,
out.
Brian? Brian, have you guys decided? They were kind of undecided through the holiday season of what they were going
Yeah,
to do or when they were going to go on next. So I don't know if they had something planned, but Brian's in here. He can drop a comment
yeah.
if he has something planned or an idea.
Just go to subscribe to their two channels, and that way you won't miss it when they do have one.
Hey,
But they
Joey, are
try.
you leaving Saturday night at Nobby and headed back, or are you going to stay Saturday night into Sunday?
Who?
You, Joey.
I'll probably leave Sunday morning.
Okay. I was only asking because at this point, as long as there's no weather coming into St. Louis or coming into Louisville, Melissa and I are slated to stay through probably Sunday morning sometime. If there's anybody that's going to be hanging out there in Louisville at that, because there's a lot of people that I know that are taking off, but anybody hanging out, we might get a handful of people together and find some place to go grab dinner on Saturday evening. So just a heads up. Matt, I don't know what you guys are doing, if you're hanging out or heading back Saturday night, but just a heads up.
Yeah, I think we are taking off at some point on Saturday. I don't know when though. It'll probably be earlier than dinner time though. Assuming I'm pretty worn out come Saturday. You know that expo. There's
Mm-hmm.
a lot of well, it just wears you out just being around having so many conversations. You know.
Yeah, Irwin keeps us up pretty late every night, and we got to get up early the next morning. So we're proper eyes open with a
You
pot of
older
coffee.
guys can't take it. That's
What happens in the lobby stays in the lobby.
Yeah.
He
That's some
said
of the
you've
best
already
times.
subscribed to their channel. Okay, good.
Poor old men, they can't take it.
Hey, Matt, that's some of the best times, honestly, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Get a small group together and just hang out in the hotel lobby.
Making memories. You know.
That's right, making memories.
You draw a lot of attention, Matt, when you walk around with a full grown bee.
Oh yeah, that is true. It's those antenna. You know what?
I'll be right back. Y'all make sure everybody behaves. I'll be right back.
We'll do our best.
I'll show y'all my shirt that my granddaughter's boyfriend gave me for Christmas.
All right.
What do they call the attendants that follow the queen around? That's called something. Retinue. You draw a retinue.
Yep. That's what JW carries. The JW retinue.
Yeah, he has a retinue. he smells like a queen bee.
Yeah, he does.
It's a retinue of trouble.
Roses.
He puts out a pheromone.
Yes, he does.
Did you hear what he said, Philip? Philip, did you hear what he said?
What did he say?
Say it again.
I said it's just for people who like to smell my dirty underwear.
We're gonna charge. We're gonna charge for that. Get a little fine.
I'm out.
Yeah.
I'm out. Not me. A New Year's live chat. I don't know. What day is New Year's on? Is that Wednesday?
Oh,
It's on the first every year.
No, I'm trying to get the actual day, not the date. The day.
The day is the first day of January.
Yes.
I had a deep thought. And I guess I'm going to have to ask Alexa or Siri or somebody. Or I'll ask you guys. I'll ask JW. He knows everything.
There you go.
So Jesus on the Julian calendar was born on the 25th of December. But our calendar is after the dominion of Christ, which I'm assuming is the birth of Christ, right? So was Jesus born on year 1, year 0, or a week before year 0, which would be -1? Anybody know the answer to that question?
Google that one, or they'd be popping it up to you, Philip.
Let me Google it.
The kind of stuff that I was thinking about driving.
From what I've heard, and I'm probably wrong, but I'm just going to throw it out there. I think from what I've heard, it wasn't like you think, like year 0 or 1 or -1. It may have been a couple of years before. You know, I'm sure 100% sure about that, but.
Well, when they made the calendar, they had to tie it to some specific date, right? That's right, Brian. We don't even do it that well. If we miss it by a
1
week,
plus 1. Hey, Philip, when are you leaving, Nobby?
it'll be early on that Sunday morning, really early.
All right, you're into the
I'm
dinner
gonna be
then.
early too. I think last time, well, not last year, but usually all the other times I left around 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning.
That's what we did. We were trying to get out ahead of that storm this past year, but that worked out okay.
Yeah.
We left, I think, about 4 or 5.
I'll
Yeah,
probably wear this shirt to Nobby. My oldest granddaughter's boyfriend. Can y'all see that? Is it backwards?
Yeah, keep going higher.
Mhm.
Yep.
Oh, I have that shirt.
Think about these, talk about these.
Yep. Dream about them.
That's pretty good. Research bees.
It's pretty
That's
much
funny.
true. Spot on.
And I need to put and anything and anybody else on the back. That's what I
Hey, what you need to put on the back of that, Joey, is you need to have your tagline, "Me again, Joey." That's what needs to say at the top.
I got that on all the other ones, yeah.
Or do this: get a QR code and tie it to like your Facebook or YouTube
That's
channel
a
or
good
whatever.
idea.
And don't put any words on it; just put the QR code. That way, people can scan it. We
Yeah.
did that on a bunch of our shirts. Now we put via honeybees and stuff on the back, and actually, Joey, did I give you a shirt last year? I'm pretty sure I did.
Yeah, I got one. I almost put it on tonight, but I said I'll do it.
I think that one actually has a QR code on the back. It's about so big on the back. I'm pretty sure.
Let's see if it's in here.
Shauna, at Highland, I tend to agree with you. I didn't comment on the other deal, but I don't even think it was December 25th on any calendar. Yeah, I'm no student of the Bible by no means, but I was told from a pretty reliable source that it wasn't even on, during the our winter months.
He's
About
been
as good
around
as
a long
Google.
time. That's what he's trying to say.
Oh, gosh, JW, we thought you were there. You could tell us.
I'm in that Gendra. But that's a little beyond my classification or job descriptions when it comes to discussing the.
Matt got us back up out of the 40s. We're in the 60s now.
Hey, boy.
I'm glad to have that effect. And luckily, hopefully, I don't sound like a pig tonight.
Oink oink.
Yeah,
Oink,
you
oink,
must
oink.
have got that fixed, huh?
Yeah, I hijacked Alicia's phone. So.
Oh,
She lets you have that power in your hand, huh?
Yep, I told you I was going to get it, come heck or high water. So.
Hey, way to put your foot down, Matt. Good
I
job,
know
man.
it feels good every year or two. I put my foot down.
You got it, man.
At least you're man enough to tell it like it is.
Yes, sir.
There's a boss in that household, and it's not Matt.
Yep, it's every strong man has an even stronger woman behind him. So
anybody
yes,
says any difference, a liar.
Yep. Yes, babe. I'll get to the dishes here. Sorry.
Oh, that's good.
My wife tells me to do dishes. I go buy some new paper plates.
There you go. We'll have to wait and see if Matt flinches at all.
There's one thing. There's one statistic that's never been broken: is a man has never been shot while doing the dishes.
Yeah, go figure.
I wouldn't say
ever.
I wouldn't bet on that either.
Oh, she wait till he finishes. She's not going to shoot you while you're doing them. Not in the middle of doing them.
On Facebook, he said for 30 years you've been correcting me and telling me I'm wrong. She said 35 years.
Mm-hmm. That's about right.
That's funny. Oh, man.
Uh-oh, Sandy's here.
Yeah,
Boss is in there.
She heard her
I think
name.
we said her name 3 times and she showed up.
Yep. What do you know?
Yeah.
She's tying ribbons and honey stirs on a what is it, a baby shower gift. So
Oh, cool.
little 2-ounce glass jars, with a little wooden spoon on them. They really
Show
sell
us what
well.
she did, Matt.
Let me see one of them. It's an order of how many is this one?
35.
35.
Is that the little hex ones?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Little
Little
2-ounce
1.5.
hexes.
Yep.
The little.
Or are they a nickel a piece or 15 cents, Matt? You was telling me.
What are we charging for these?
Shoot. I wish it was a nickel a piece for all the crap.
What are those, babe?
$3.
$3 a piece on those.
Yeah, man, that's not
Dollars?
worth.
What? How many ounces is that?
It's 2 ounces.
Yeah, but that's not worth the effort you have to put into those
That's
things.
still
I
cheap.
know it.
That's still cheap.
Now, mind you, I'm pouring all those in a with a 5-gallon bucket.
Oh man.
So
Yeah,
the next live I come on, I'll show you my bottling setup and make Tom jealous. It's a bunch of white plastic buckets behind me.
Hey,
there's
Matt.
there's no stainless in my game right now.
Hey,
We've all been there.
$100 bill helps
you get that one right there, man.
But
I was going like I do everything. I went on the Flower Street Farms website because I was thinking about offering that same service. So I always go and try to steal Brian's prices. And he had $5 for those things, and I called him up and I was like, dude, that's not enough for the effort that goes into those things. It's not the honey value, it's the work you have to put into it.
yeah.
But he goes, what? It's only 5. Oh, they're supposed to be 6. He went back and changed it, I hope.
Well, shit. Maybe
Yeah,
I
it's
should raise
all-
my price.
Yeah, it's all about the market and your location, what the market
Yeah.
will bear for it. So
But I don't know. I mean, it seems like that size jar you can still get a pretty good deal, but on my 2-ounce jars, I had to go to a different style because that one shot up from like 60 cents a jar up to over $1 right before Christmas. So I changed styles just for that. Well, there's a jar and the dipper and the little bee and all that stuff.
Talking about still going out of plastic buckets. Well, with my little cream honey operation, I'm still making creamed honey in this thing.
Wow.
Mhm.
Yep.
And it pours a little too wide for the jars I use.
That's not creamed honey, Joey. That's got to be. That's whipped honey. That's not creamed honey.
Well, it's whipped cream honey.
Whipped cream
But
honey.
anyway, I bought this thing and I fill this thing up, and it makes it so much easier to put it into the jars.
What is that? I don't even know what that is.
That's actually like
That's pretty cool.
I done forgot what it is.
That's the
Something to
whipped
do with
honey
ice.
fountain. Tom,
Yeah,
that's the whipped honey fountain.
pancake batter mixture.
Whipped honey funnel.
But it's got the little stopper in there. It does good. I can stop on 8 ounces. Actually, I stop on like 8.2, something like that, in the little jar. Works pretty good.
That's what we should have at one of these dinners is a honey pour off. Get some 5-gallon gate buckets. And see who can pour the most consistent and
That'd be
fastest.
pretty good.
A race.
I have some practice at it. That's why I want to play the game.
Sandy cracking the whip on you, buddy.
I know it. I come home and she
Getting
tells me
hold of
what
ya.
to fill, and I try to get it filled before I get in trouble. So
Yeah, good call, man.
Oh, Glade, congratulations.
Blade, you'll like that.
Silence.
yeah, JW, it was foggy here today. I mean, we were in the clouds, literally. It just you could almost see them. You could see them blowing by. I went to go look at beehives and make sure all the chloroplast is still in, and
Yeah.
just did drive-bys today of several bee yards, and it was. I mean, until you got 10 yards, 20 yards from the hive, you didn't even see them.
That's
That's
the
what
kind of
I
mornings we've been having. Now, this morning wasn't so bad, but we've been having those wet, foggy mornings,
Yeah.
and
We had them all day.
everything, even under an open shed, was wet.
Yeah, you can almost just
Something with it.
squeeze, like squeezing a rag out. The
Yeah.
air is just thick.
This morning
It
was a
was
lot
pretty
better.
decent here today. It was cloudy, but it's pretty decent. I got finished up with my treatments, that we talked about. I was done by 10:30.
Wow.
So I hauled hay this afternoon for my donk and my horses. And
Did you clean that into the vap that you borrowed? Did you clean that up real good?
no, I left it like a game. I went.
I knew it.
You're supposed to leave stuff as good or better or as good or the same as shape as what you get them in.
Yes,
But
sir.
boy, I tell you what, I might have burned it up. That thing, I had it so hot it was smoking when you pulled out the hives. I don't know
Mm.
what caused that.
Probably the oxalic acid.
Mm-hmm.
It was smoking. It was smoking out that tail, that
Yeah.
sticks out the other end, the far end of it when you put it in
Mm-hmm.
the hive. I don't know what caused that, but it smoked every time. Just about.
Surprised you didn't try to breathe that stuff. You might be immune to it.
I got a couple doses of it today. The wind was blowing enough out of the east.
It doesn't matter how careful you try to be. You always get nailed at least once, and it's like son of a gun.
I had the worst experience in that. I had a bee crawl up my pants leg while I was doing all that, and they wasn't even hardly flying very good. And
Oh, they don't eat much.
he put the whammy on my bammy. So what he done?
Were you dancing?
Doing the cowbush boogie just like you would on the bar on the drunk night.
I wish there would have been a video of that.
What kind of boogie?
Cowbushel.
Oh,
Ain't you ever done the cowbush boogie on the bar at the local
I
tavern?
thought you said Calahoochee. I was wondering, it sounded like something from Louisiana, Calahoochee.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see that one at Nobby. We'll see the
Catahoula
Cowboys.
curs. I used to get Catahoula cur dogs out of Louisiana.
Yeah, that's probably one of the prettiest dogs exist.
No, I got the prettiest dog that exists. He's my buddy, but he's wanting to go outside right now, and you can hear him begging in the background. So
You did some singing yesterday.
Singing the high note.
he learned a new song today. I'll have a new one for you. Next trip out, I'll have a new song. We learned a new one today. He taught it to me. Yeah, let me step out here and let him out before he goes barking. Come on.
Teach him the one that frog sings. That hello, my honey, hello, my baby.
Dang, I can barely say it, and this guy spelled it.
That's what JW was doing.
Hoochie coochie dance.
Oh gosh, you're gonna get Joey a strike on his.
That probably wasn't enough to hurt nothing.
Yeah, I didn't leave it up.
You talk about me while I was gone, do you?
Nope.
Was you gone? Didn't know you were gone.
Yeah, I'm kind of hard to miss.
We were thinking about butchering that cow behind you while you were gone.
No, don't be talking about stuff like that.
Who was going to be getting the steaks?
I told you I can get you all them steaks you want, but you're gonna have to, come up with a couple, 3 of them Ben Franklins.
Mm-hmm. Stuff's expensive now.
Matt, you need to start talking again. We're back down to 58.
Uh-oh.
It's actually going.
We're talking about bees.
It's actually butcher beef's actually going down a little bit right now, but they say it's going to go back up. So I don't know.
I think we're due to order a cow in January.
If you go the full meal deal, you can get probably all set up for about $3,000.
Yep, we do a full cow.
Okay, do you know how much per pound it costs you to do that nowadays?
Yeah, that most depends on what the cow weighs on the hoof. They'll dress out usually in the 60 percentiles. So figure that out. What you getting?
We used to do that years ago, and then we got where we just go buy like a couple $100 worth.
It's still cheaper than you at the store. You can get one processed in my area now, and buy the cow and the hoof and get it, and counting processing costs and butchering costs and so forth. You'll have less than $5 a pound in it for everything, and you can't buy a hamburger at the
The
store.
last time that we bought beef would have been this last year was 410, 409, 410
Yeah,
a pound.
it'll cost you more than that now, but it'll be less than $5, I'd say.
Happy New Year, Bryce, and hit the like button on your way out.
How much
Appreciate
bone is in that, Tom?
JW would be a better person to ask on that than me.
Well, I guess it'd be the same as your regular cuts. Like your T-bone's gonna have some in there, but
Yeah,
ribbone's not.
there's not a lot on most of that. I mean,
I don't know what you're
the
saying.
stuff
How
that
much
I'm
weight
getting.
is there? You're saying? Depends
Do
on how
you- Did you grind the hamburger meat, or do they grind it?
They grind it and package everything. We were getting it in 1 pound packages, and then they said, hey, if you go to 2 pound packages, the price will drop a little bit. And we're like, fine, because I mean, my boys eat a lot themselves, you know what I mean? So we don't just do a pound of beef anymore. It's 2-3 plus pounds, sometimes 4 pounds of ground beef if we're cooking, I don't know, chili tacos, whatever, things like that. So, but we know where we're getting it from.
That's my favorite, DC.
You know that cow personally, do you, or what do you mean? You know where you're getting it from?
Well, we know the family.
Oh, okay.
The family actually was my mother and father-in-law's friends and their siblings. It's a small family operation. They raise their own beef cattle in the area. You know where Washington is at, right? From me.
Mm-hmm.
They're just outside of Washington, and butcher shop's been. I think this is now the 3rd generation. I think coming into the 3rd generation.
So you're saying you don't know it as well as JW knows his sperm donating bull?
That would be accurate. Yes.
Okay.
I know them up close and personal.
That's on an intimate
Several
level.
of them, Philip.
He would have quite literally hands-on experience.
I have had more than I'll admit to it. Yes.
I noticed he does. He does appear to have good, strong forearms.
Hey, I will tell you this. I'm sure with what a prize-winning bull would produce, you would do it for the money he was probably earning off some of those too. Okay, so let's not all get high and mighty and proud.
You just got to keep that in mind. The dollars and cents. I like that. I like the way you're thinking, Tom.
I won't go into any
regardless,
detail.
don't bring the kind of money you're thinking about.
I won't go into any detail, but
compared to like racehorse semen or something like that,
So the horse thing actually came up one time in a conversation amongst me and 2 other workers inside of a truck going from one job to the next. And we were all debating what we would do like for money when it came to that. And I told these guys they were idiots if they wouldn't. And I'll just leave it at that. I'm not going to go into any detail on this. We can do one of that afterwards, but
I got 2 questions. Is Joey's? Are people coming in or leaving? And is Joey going to end up? Is Joey going to get demonetized?
I don't think so. Not for that. Not for that. This one has been an interesting night.
I don't make enough money to worry about getting demonetized.
It's a scientific discussion we're having.
That's right. Exactly.
They fool me very much. I just turn monetization off and be done with it. And we'll do our own little thing.
Mm-hmm.
Say what? 3 years getting back to break even.
Let's see what the comments are saying.
You got cooler weather down your way, Philip?
It's coming. It's gonna get here tomorrow evening.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to try to get out tomorrow and do some oxalic OAV,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah,
You guys located at, Shona? I thought you were in Missouri someplace.
They are.
She's down in Ozark Highlands.
Yeah.
Well, that's right. That's front supposed to come through here tomorrow. I think we're getting supposed to go down to 22. They're calling for here tomorrow night.
yeah.
I think the bigger topic, JW, for us, Matt, and you would be the wind tomorrow is supposed to be pretty severe. I can only imagine it's probably going to be worse in your neck of the woods.
I got my hatches fully battened.
Yeah.
Tom, what you got? One of them big snow blowers that you take with you to clean people's driveways off with?
Well, we do have a couple snow blowers, but we don't do any driveways. We only do commercial buildings and subdivisions.
Oh, I got you. You don't do residential stuff.
No, I just, it's not something that short story of it would be, I never found it worth the money for the aggravation and risk to do driveways. So we just stuck to commercial buildings, and it's everything that we've got is what I would consider, or call it zero tolerance, meaning they have to be clean. If there's a quarter inch, if there's one ice spot on there, it gets dealt with. So in an area like St. Louis, where it's very hit or miss snowfalls.
You put down salt too?
Yeah, we do a lot. We use a lot of salt.
Yeah.
Salt and calcium chloride. We use calcium on all the concrete surfaces, and sodium chloride, just highway salt, highway grade salt, in the bulk form through the V boxes that get put down on the parking lots and subdivisions and things like that. But we do have on some of the office buildings, we have a handful of them. I try not to land those anymore because I don't have the manpower, nor do I want to hire anybody else in to help out with that. We have a few commercial buildings that require the sidewalks to be dealt with too. And then you need shovel crews or snow blower shovel crews, depending on how much snow is down. If there's only a couple inches, we don't pull the snow blowers out. We just do the shovels. It's much easier, faster, but we have those though. A couple. I have probably 2 or 3.
I was just curious about that. I've been wanting to ask you that.
Hey, do you need to borrow one? I'll get you one down there.
No, I don't think I need a snowblower. But talking about the OAV down here right now, I think is the perfect time for us. I hadn't looked in the beehive, but just kind of going by on instinct, I think our brood is probably lower right now than it's going to be any time of the winter right now.
I feel like it is here too.
What I'm hoping.
I sure hope there is. I stuck a bunch of it in there today and yesterday and the day before and the day before that. Good.
I put out the JW Irwin robbing station at my house this week since it was warm, so that the bees don't bother my neighbors' bird feeders and stuff. I'll throw out some pollen sub in a pan. I cut back a little bit out of that bag, Matt, just to keep them a little bit busy. And I had some buckets that we usually, when we empty all the buckets into these tanks behind you guys here, I usually just throw them down in here. It's been too cold. The bees aren't flying. So when it warmed up, I set all those buckets out there so they could clean it up, and they were all over those buckets in pollen.
Yeah, they are here anyway. I mean, Matt can tell you, we had I've got an old bird feeder out there that he had maybe 3 gallon. I soft fonded that didn't cook right.
It was 35 pounds. It had one extra unit of water in it, and it didn't set right, so I kept it for open feed. And
during this warm spell, they pretty well cleaned up that 35-pound the fondant. I'm telling you,
it's amazing how they can consume that.
Matt, didn't you say you put fondant out and let them out in the open and let them get it too?
Oh yeah. We'll open feed it all the time with the scraps, and there's right now there's 45 hives in our big mating yard, and they will consume every bit of 20 pounds in a day in 2 different robbing stations, so to speak.
You only have 45 out there right now?
Yeah. Yep. Oh. I've spread them all around. So
that's good.
I kind of set up for next year's splits. I want to raise well, the first round of nukes was all going to be raised on double screen boards. So I got big parent colonies, at least a dozen to 20 for the most part in every yard. So I'll be able to spread them out a little bit.
Hey, speaking of that, it just made me think about the HDO. I talked to my brother-in-law the other day, and I told him what you wanted and I wanted, and I said as long as the price was still the same, that's what we want. And he goes, yeah. He goes, I don't think it would have changed. He goes, if anything, he follows the price of lumber pretty closely because they order millions of dollars of lumber every single year. But he said that if anything, he goes, it might have actually dropped. He goes, I'll look at it. And I said, well, I don't need it right now. I said, I just need to have it so I can get this stuff built. I said, by no later than the end of February, so I can have all that stuff ready to go. Because my goal was going to be, I need to get from our supplier over in JW's neck of the woods, I need to get 30 more medium boxes. I might just have him assemble them and go pick them up. I need to get some of those 5-frame shims from him. And then I'm getting a bunch of medium frames from Bill for the supers.
Yeah, I got a list for him. I don't even know. Probably 60 medium boxes. I don't know how many. I want to do a lot of overwintered nukes this year.
That's
I've talked to him. I'm going to get a commission off that now, boys. So
yes, sir.
Once you know, I get 40% of everything you give me.
We figured that.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
That's why it's a sweatshop over here.
Yeah, that's why I got Alicia's in the sweatshop tying ribbons on it because I'm about to go buy 100 boxes.
Well, hey, oh, there he is. She's getting them. Come on, Alicia, hit him harder. He's still got a smile on his face.
You never know what's going to happen around here.
Oh man, hey, we're gonna have a good time picking on each other down there at Nobby. You know that?
Yeah,
they might kick us out.
We're gonna rename that place to Insanity Valley.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. I tell you what, we were so loud in that lobby last year, I almost felt guilty. You know, I mean, just like
Hey,
wow, we're having so much
if
fun.
you guys didn't drink so much, you wouldn't have any problem.
Oh, I'm not
When
a big
did that
drinker.
video
You know that.
Greg's Burn did with all y'all? What day was that?
Did you watch that video?
That was
The
the
one
first
he just
day
put out
last year. That
Yeah.
was last year, about the first day, I think.
Mhm.
Was it the first day?
Yeah, I think
so.
Y'all know Greg Burns' video? Oh, not David Burns. Greg Burns.
Yeah, JW was in there, and
I thought you were talking about David Burns. Yeah.
I had just
Greg
got
Burns.
there the first day when they stopped me to come over there.
Oh yeah, that was
Matt and I weren't in there because
You were
we had
standing
that
there,
picture
too,
we were
Philip. You
doing,
were
Matt.
on that
Yeah,
deal.
I was in there. That was what did Greg call it? He called it Shenanigan Central, I think he called it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I remember when JW was in there, they said, told JW, said, get in here, waved him in, and JW walked in and said, they asked him to, do a little talk about what he thought of everything and all that jazz, and he kept it short and sweet like usual. And then somehow my name got brought up in there, and I don't remember how or who or what on that.
I think
whole deal.
someone was complaining about something. I'm pretty sure.
Probably that's what it was. But I think at that time we were out doing some picture at the photo wall. We had some big photo thing going on at the time when Greg did that. But Joey, let me think about this. You weren't standing there though, were you?
I wasn't there.
Yeah,
I think
you in the video.
I wasn't invited.
Grammy Lisa.
You were. You had a
Grammy
box
Lisa
out
was
there,
there.
didn't you?
Yeah, my box was on the top left.
Yeah, well then if your box was out there, you were invited. You just didn't show up.
Well, if it happened when you said it did, I didn't even know I had a box out there.
Hey, I didn't know it either until Melissa brought me back by his booth and stood me from it, says, look at them. And I'm like, what am I supposed to be looking at? And she goes, look. And I'm like, yeah, it's a bunch of boxes with YouTubers on it. I'm like, what am I supposed to be looking at? And she goes, you're not looking close enough. So I looked and I'm like, holy crap. I'm like, our name's on there.
Yeah.
I felt important for a minute.
I was standing there looking at all those boxes last year, and there was this two guys standing there. One guy said, look at this. All these people think they really something. The thing is, the people's names that were on there didn't ask for those boxes to be made.
That's right.
Greg done that.
I know.
And he was sitting there down talking all the people, all those channels. I said to myself, yeah, I bet you watch every one of them too.
Hey, you know what,
Mhm.
Joey? Here's how it goes. They're all saying haters are gonna hate, right?
Yep.
Mhm.
They hate you because they ain't you.
I started to tell him who I was. That's my box, and don't subscribe to my channel unless you want to watch me do videos.
Actually, if I was there, what I would have said was, "Yeah, I don't even trust these
Well,
guys here."
I'm
And I would have,
sorry.
I would have
I'm
pointed
sorry
at
you heard me talking about you.
my
Joey.
box or JW's box. I wouldn't trust that guy as far as I can throw him. And then you can hand him
I'm
a card.
thinking all the guy was just jealous. I think he was just jealous. That was it, you know.
Hey, you can't talk about Sawmill Charlie like that. His box was there too.
Yeah, it wasn't Charlie.
I know. Just messing.
Kind of figured he'd be here tonight. He's probably dancing somewhere.
I bet he is. We actually have a really big cart. I should bring it in here to show you guys of what things have already been ordered and delivered to my house for the actual dinner thing. Here, I can go grab it real quick.
Those two people has worked themselves to death on this dinner thing.
What do you mean two?
Yeah.
Well, it's
Well,
What do you mean? Team?
probably Melissa.
Melissa has worked really hard on it.
Yeah.
I don't know if
She's a
you
good
can see that.
coordinator.
This is one of the carts. This
Oh,
is one
wow.
of the carts that has some stuff on it. We'll be bringing back.
What are you gonna do with all those
Is
pampers?
that going to be giveaway stuff?
Pampers?
Oh, that's not anything that's giveaway. All that is just part of some of the food.
That's the pins,
Oh,
JW, not the Pampers.
Oh,
Oh, no, the pens were mine. They shouldn't be on that cart. Those were mine for some.
Hey,
you know,
those black totes right there, what size are they? On your right.
those.
Yeah.
I bet they 32s, I bet.
I've got the 12-gallon ones like that, and them things are handy.
well,
27.
27.
Yeah, that's good boxes.
These all. So we get those all of our bottles in the boxes,
Yep.
and that's what we put those in.
Yep. I've got some 12-gallon. When I bought some for my feeders, I bought some extra ones to use here in the honey house. They're handy. And those 12-gallon ones that got to actually fit on these shelves, like this one back here.
Mm-hmm.
It actually fit up there if I wanted to use it to store stuff.
I will say, just give Melissa a little added girl. Melissa has really been working hard on all this stuff, just so you guys
She
know.
has. We wouldn't be able to do what we were doing that night. I wanted to show y'all this. Can y'all see this?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I didn't want to use them for coasters, so I put them up there on my shelf. I showed y'all them the other day, didn't I?
Yeah.
Is that from Gunline?
Yep.
Yeah, we seen them.
Oh, nice.
Mm-hmm.
They're too pretty to use for coasters.
Yeah.
I think Philip stole the other ones.
Yeah.
They sent me two like that with different tools in it. They gave me this little cross.
I'm gonna be running from people at Nobby because I gotta bring them to them, but I'm gonna just be trying to avoid them. Here you go, Joey.
Dirt rooster shirt tonight.
Your rest of your clothes might be dirty or something.
Let's see.
There we go.
That's pretty too. Yeah, I like that. Those linked harps. That's pretty. I wonder who's got that talent. Is that Tim or Hannah?
That's a good point.
That's kind of an epoxy mold of some kind, look like, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like it.
We did a little credit union at the place where I worked, at the prison, and we actually did their countertop like that.
Mm-hmm.
It has that depth to it. It looks real deep. It's pretty.
So we have a bunch more donations that were given to also for like from vendors and things.
Yeah.
Like I know Michael's in here, 21st B. He's been pretty generous with everything. I'll tell you what, I would always encourage and recommend to anybody that's going to any of these events like Nabi and things like that, pay attention to the vendors that actually are already treating people right, and the vendors that are always giving things away. And all of them don't, but there is a select
True.
number of people in these chats and at these events, and pay close attention to this stuff. These
tell you-
guys are giving away hard-earned money that they could be
Yeah.
used for elsewhere. And I'm telling you, I would just say patronize these guys because
Michael, I don't want to start. I'm going to call some names, and you can throw more in there. Michael's one of them.
he's definitely one of them.
Bill is one of them.
Mm-hmm.
And who else we got? I don't want to leave somebody out.
John Hill is one of them. That is,
John Hill, yeah.
John with JL Apiaries, John Boxtiegel. He has
Exactly,
donated
yeah.
a bunch to a few different areas, actually.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm going to forget a handful of people without looking at a list.
Yeah, that's the thing you get into. You don't want to leave somebody out. So
We need to really recognize them here, probably at least after the next chat after Nabi or something like that. We need to recognize all those people.
Yep. I will tell you this. So if whoever's going to the dinner that's going to be there, Melissa's going to also be printing off things to throw on each one of the tables that you're going to see too of all the people who donated. So people who donated money on there as far as like to the dinner, things like that. The vendors that contributed stuff to door prizes, giveaways, things like that. That'll all be on there. Yep. Jeff Hyde with Apis Tactical. He's another one.
Yeah, I want to go to his booth when I get a chance.
Jeff has some really nice stuff.
Don't forget Lisa. Don't forget Lisa with Grammy's midwife. She donated that nice basket to her.
Oh, did she? She did, yeah. I kind of feel bad. I didn't do nothing like that this year. I just bought tickets.
Hey,
you were helping that way too.
Well, if people didn't buy tickets, it would have been a real problem. Mm-hmm. We've just been giving stuff away.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, I could have gave one of my used inner covers away, but I didn't want to do that. I wanted to get a brand new one and send out.
Joey, you know what's funny is I had that interview cover that you had given to me to give to Ricky Rourke.
Yeah.
That thing sat at my house for like, I don't even know how many months in my garage.
February, wasn't it?
He forgot it.
Oh,
yes. I actually delivered it to him when we took the nukes down there for
y'all needed to use that thing, see how you liked them.
It was heavy.
I don't have any 10 frame stuff.
Oh,
that I was impressed by the weight of it. I mean, that glass isn't just pane glass; it's tempered of some kind.
Oh yeah, that stuff's
quarter-inch maybe.
I tell you, it don't let moisture build up on it. If you use Lexan, moisture build up on it, but that for some reason that temper don't. You might get a little bit if you open the hive up and put it back on there. You might get a little bit, but if you want to make a quick run without opening your hive up, those things are a dream. They're just kind of expensive.
Mm-hmm. They look really nice.
You can pull that top off and look in there, and you see all those bees running around like it's not even cold outside.
So I see a couple people like Brian and who else is I seeing something about gloves? Clay. I can tell you this. I actually have a pair of those Apis Tactical gloves. They're the brown ones with the black back on them, and they're really soft. So I don't typically use those for getting into the colonies, but like if I'm feeding sugar syrup or I'm actually sometimes just like working, moving stuff, doing stuff, like when I was doing some of that brush cutting, I was actually using them as like a work glove when I was out there, and they actually are pretty nice gloves, to be honest with you. So if you're looking for a good all-around glove, I don't like the gloves because you'll lose your dexterity in a lot of ways, but if you're looking for one that's good kind of all around for even just working with, I honestly liked it. So definitely check those out. Matthew Doucette with Comfort Pro Suits also has been a big help and contributor. He's the one that helped us secure the venue space, and he said he's going to try to make it by for a little bit that night, but he has other things going on that night too. So he won't be able to, he probably won't be able to hang on too long. But again, he was the one that helped us to secure that space. Another one that I'm thinking of right now, and I know I'm going to miss people, but we'll have to put a list together. before then to talk about in the chats, and there'll also be a list at the dinner too. So you'll be able to see all the people who donated. So I would just implore you guys to visit with those guys, those companies. If they're giving away stuff, they're losing money, just show some love to them. At least check out their products and see if it can work in your operation. So there's been some really nice contributions there.
It's an awesome community,
It really is. If anybody else is coming to that dinner and they have something that they want to donate to give away or a door prize or something like that, feel free. Contact Melissa. You can reach out to us or email via honeybees@gmail.com. You can even bring it that day. You have to ship it.
I don't like to wear gloves too much. I like to work barehanded as much as I can. But if the bees are kind of rowdy, I've got some of those short gloves that Guardian makes too. I'll put them on. They're a little bulky, but they work good. They're easy to put on and pull off instead of the long sleeves. They're short. You just put them on and cover them up with the sleeve of the jacket. But I like to work barehanded, and I like to work with the rubber gloves on too. But in the hot summers down here, them things will fill up with sweat.
Yep.
So bad down here.
Same here. They're really not the little thin ones, like we had talked about before. They're really nice to keep the propolis off of your vehicle or steering wheel or whatever.
Well, I've got a thumb that I injured with a tractor implement trying to put it on, and it messed my nail up, and it messed the doctor said it actually tore up the nail bed so it won't grow right. And when I work barehanded a lot, for some reason that propolis will really get that all messed up. It'll dry and crack and everything. And I try to wear gloves with it, but I'd still rather work barehanded and just put more medicine on my hands.
Yeah. Here's a couple different brands that we use. If anybody's really interested, I know we showed them before. These are an 8 mil.
Oh, yeah.
And they're kind of that orange color. And then there's these. These are the ones Melissa uses.
Yeah. The nitros. What is that? That's how you say that name?
Titan Flex.
Yeah. Okay.
TITANFLEX. Yeah. These come off of Amazon. Same thing with these right here.
I've got some nitro, but they're blue.
Mm-hmm.
I'm telling you, I probably went through this year. I bet I went through of these. I don't even know, 8 boxes, probably.
They're handy, but I gotta have them. If I'm gonna wear nitros, I gotta have them long enough to get my wrist covered. If my wrist is covered, I'm all set. But if I got the short nitro gloves on, my sleeve will pull up and expose my bare wrist right there, and then I'll just get hammered.
Yeah. But I found the 7 mil and the 9 mil from Harbor Freight are pretty good about covering your wrist.
Mm-hmm.
We got some cool stuff coming.
Last year I walked by John's booth there, and I looked at those bucket alarms, and I said, I got to get me one of them. And I never made it back to his booth to get one. And he sent me one, and man, that's one of the best tools I got in my honey house.
Mm-hmm.
It really is. I know I sound like I just keep repeating myself, but it just takes, even if nothing ever happened before, when you put that alarm on there, it takes stuff out of the back of your mind that you're having to think about and remember while you're doing other things. You know what I mean? And you say, well, it's going to go off when it gets there.
Oh, yeah.
I like to think I can multitask until I find out I really can't multitask.
Hey, Matt, if you
when I was in my 30s and 40s, I could, but not now, not anymore.
Matt, just ask Sandy if you can multitask. I guarantee she will tell you that you cannot.
I guarantee you're right. I can guarantee that. she'll try and talk to me, and I'll be sending a text or something about work with an email, and I can't
Okay.
do two things at once.
I know.
My
Melissa will try to do
version,
that to me too.
my version of multitasking now is looking for more than one thing that I lost at the same time.
Yep.
Boy, you older guys are making me feel bad.
Yeah.
There you go, Matt. This is the 9 mil Harbor Freight.
Oh, let
No,
me get.
okay, yeah, those are. Yep.
That's down over my
Oh
watch.
yeah.
Is
Yep.
that?
That
Well,
would do it.
see, the nitro ones I got said they were long like that, but they weren't. They were not
Yeah,
that
that's.
long.
I use the Venom Steel. I think Lowe's sells them, but they're blue. But they're as long as those, and those, as long as I don't rip a
Yeah,
hole in them, I won't get stung. Those are nice though. Those are from Harbor Freight. You said.
Yeah, the 9 mil, and I find the 7 mils are about as long.
Mm-hmm.
I wear those about half the time.
Did
The
I hear
7
you?
mils are like a kind of
Matt,
darker blue.
Sir,
Did I hear you correctly? I'll go see if I can't correct that statement
what is that?
about the next trip, about not getting stung, about the next trip out here.
Oh,
I'll see if I can't.
oh, yeah. I guess. I mean, there's a way I can guarantee you can hit a hive stand with the side of that golf cart and really get them revved up on me.
Hey Joey, my phone's down about 3%. I hadn't had it plugged up, so I'm gonna jump off of here and listen to you guys on the YouTube side.
All right. Well, I appreciate you coming on, man.
Good seeing you,
Had
Philip.
a good time. We'll see you guys on the chat again, and then we'll see you at Nobby.
Well, we got one more Saturday chat
Hey,
before
Philip.
we go to Nobby.
Philip, before
Yeah.
you go, I got a question.
Okay, I thought JW would have a question, but yeah, I'll take
Actually,
yours
I have
instead.
one. Actually, legit question. Are you going to be working as the front man at Nobby this year or not?
I hadn't contacted them. They're looking for volunteers, but I don't want to volunteer for like the whole time.
Yeah.
You know, I don't mind helping out here and there.
If anybody is looking to volunteer at Nobby, I do know that you'll have to reach out to. I would reach out to Chris Medeiros before I'd reach out to Cayman. You'll get a response much faster. No offense, Cayman, if you're watching this, but it's the truth.
I would volunteer, but I'm scared they would want me to do something.
Yeah, I'm afraid they would put you to work.
Joey's just going to volunteer to help hand out badges so he can keep me from hiding his like I did last year.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I was making fun of Melissa, and I told her, I said, hey, you could volunteer for the honey show at Nobby. And I'm like, I'll be sure to stop in and wave to you from time to time. I'm like, as we're going from one thing to the next to another party, and she goes, I'm not volunteering for the honey show at Nobby. And I'm like, well, you can do what you want. Matt and I could run around in the Cattleman's Cadillac.
Mm-hmm.
Hey,
All right.
Clay,
Good night to everybody in the chat too.
See you later, Philip. Thanks for coming on. Clay, which Corey are you talking about?
Corey is the contact person. Okay.
Corey Stevens or somebody else?
No, I doubt it's Corey Stevens. I don't know who he's talking about specifically, but you can probably go to the North American Honeybee Expo website and there's a section.
Probably be Chris. He probably missed.
I just I've always done it every year a little bit, kind of like on the down low. I just tell Jeremy, look, if you need me, give me a call.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, I'm just gonna walk around. Okay.
Hey, I feel like when you're putting Diploid in the back, I feel like you're messing around. I feel like that's a joke. You could reach out to the website. And
y'all, we should be on 3 hours right here. I think it's time to. It's
10 o'clock.
Good time to shut this thing down, don't y'all think?
Sure.
Imagine.
Appreciate everybody coming in. I know everybody ain't here now. We was up to like 80 people one time. But appreciate everybody coming in. Appreciate your support. And Uncle Junior, if you're still on, appreciate your little super chat there. And we'll see y'all on the next one.
See y'all.
Good night.